The gale screams across the Baltic Sea, a relentless icy force hammering against the thick, salt-weathered timber of this hidden Gdańsk workshop. Outside, the night is a chaotic void, a swirling maelstrom of freezing rain and biting autumn wind that tears at the thatch of every roof in the harbor district. But here, the world is defined only by the perimeter of these sturdy oak walls. The heavy iron bar is firmly wedged across the door, sealing you away from the fury of 1580. You have crossed the threshold from a world of uncertainty into a sanctuary of absolute, unwavering warmth. The air inside is thick with the scent of history and craft. It smells deeply of pine logs, releasing their stored summer heat into the room, mingled with the faint, sweet, and ancient aroma of resin that only emerges when Baltic amber is touched by the human hand. You are seated on a low wooden bench, the surface smoothed by generations of use, tucked safely into the corner nearest the hearth. Before you sits the master artisan. He does not look up, for his world has narrowed down to the small, jagged piece of fossilized sunlight resting in his calloused palms. He works in total harmony with the fire. As the logs shift and settle, sending a cascade of orange sparks spiraling up toward the blackened rafters, the artisan draws a thick, cured piece of dark leather across the surface of the stone. The motion is steady. It is methodical. It is the heartbeat of this room. Each stroke of the leather is precise, removing the rough, chalky crust of the prehistoric resin to reveal the brilliant honeyed core hidden beneath. He knows that haste is the enemy of beauty. He knows that amber, which has slept in the cold blue depths of the sea for millions of years, requires patience to wake. You watch his hands marked by years of labor and stayed by time, moving with a grace that seems almost ritualistic. There is no clock here, no measure of time other than the slow cycle of the fire and the gradual transformation of the raw material. You feel the tension of the long journey, the fatigue of the trade roads, and the noise of the bustling port slipping away from your shoulders. The weight of your own existence feels lighter, unmoored from the pressures of the day. The fire is a constant, low-frequency hum of comfort. It illuminates the artisan's face, casting deep shadows that dance across the walls, turning the simple wooden interior into a golden, gilded chamber. You are effectively cut off from this century, from the wars, from the politics of the maritime leagues, and from the harshness of the winter that approaches. Go out here. Go out in the dim light of the hearth. You are merely an observer of peace. You are witnessing the birth of a gem. You are witnessing the power of stillness. As the artisan continues his work, the friction creates a subtle rhythmic warmth that permeates the space. You find yourself syncing your own breathing to his movements. Every time he pulls the leather, you inhale the calming scent of resin and smoke. Every time he lifts his hand to inspect the progress, you exhale, letting go of a thought, a worry, or a lingering doubt. This room is a vessel of tranquility, anchored in the rocky, windswept coast of Pomerania. It is a place where you are allowed to be completely still. It is a place where you are allowed to stop running. The wood is strong, the fire is bright, and the night is long. There is nowhere else to go, and nothing else to achieve. You have arrived at the center of the storm, and found it to be perfectly, beautifully silent. Observe the ember. It begins to shine, catching the flicker of the hearth and reflecting it back to you. It is a captured sunrise, held within the hands of a man who understands that true value is found in the time we choose to invest in things that matter. Let your eyes grow heavy, not with sleep, but with the profound contentment of being exactly where you are meant to be. The hut is your shelter. The fire is your companion. The rhythm is your guide. The night will continue. The wind will continue to howl, and the fire will continue to glow. But you are insulated, protected, and quiet. Deep within this 1580 workshop, you are finding the stillness that has eluded you for so long. Rest in this knowledge. Sink into the warmth of the hearth and the repetitive, grounding nature of the craft. You are safe. You are home. The room breathes with the fire, a living, pulsing entity that governs the passage of the evening. Every time a log settles, shifting its weight against the iron grate, the light in the hut deepens, deepening the shadows in the corners where the tools of the trade are stored. You watch the artisan's fingers move with a confidence that only decades of practice can bestow. He does not look at the amber as he works. He knows it through the sensitivity of his skin. He feels the density of the resin, the microscopic imperfections that need smoothing, and the exact pressure required to bring out the inner luster without fracturing the delicate heart of the stone. You have allowed your gaze to drift from the windows, which are nothing more than portals of darkness against the inner brilliance of the room, to the workbench. It is a masterpiece of utility. Scratches map the surface like a history of every piece of jewelry that has ever been finished here. There are small piles of fine sawdust, the remnants of shaping, and the clean organized array of chisels and files that wait for the next day's work. But tonight there is no cutting. There is only the polishing, the slow meditative refinement of the surface. There is a profound dignity in this solitude. In the city outside its walls, the merchants are likely telling their losses. The sailors are huddled in taverns, debating the tides, and the politicians are plotting the next shifting alliance of the Hanseatic League. But you are exempt from all of that by simply choosing to sit here. In the warm glow of the firelight, you have opted out of the chaos. You have chosen the path of the artisan, a life measured not by output or speed, but by the quality of presence. The warmth of the fire is seeping into the wooden floorboards beneath you. You can feel it through the soles of your boots, a gentle radiating heat that rises up to meet you. It is a grounding sensation, a reminder that you are physically connected to this space. The hut is a testament to the resilience of the people who dwell on this coast. To live here in 1580 is to contend with the elements every single day, to respect the power of the sea and the sudden onset of the northern winters. Yet, in this hut, the struggle is replaced by a temporary perfect equilibrium. Listen to the way the fire crackles, a dry, sharp sound that breaks the stillness, only to emphasize it. It is not a sound that startles, it is a sound that invites. It speaks of survival, of the hearth, as the original sanctuary of humanity. As the flames dance, they cast silhouettes on the log walls, making the very structure seem as though it is breathing with you. The walls are thick, rough-hewn oak, seasoned until they are nearly as hard as stone, blocking out the auditory assault of the storm. Inside, the sound is muffled, soft, and intimate. The artisan pauses for a moment, his hand resting on the workbench. He picks up a soft cloth, dusting off the fine amber powder that has gathered in the grooves of his palm. He holds the piece of amber up to the firelight. It is no longer a dull, unremarkable stone. It has begun to catch the light, revealing layers of fossilized color, deep honey, pale lemon, and flashes of fiery orange. It is a piece of the earth's own memory brought into the light of the present. He turns it slowly, studying the facets, nodding to himself in the quiet. He is not just making jewelry, he is curating a connection between the deep past and the immediate now. This amber was formed in forests that existed long before humans walked these shores, trapped in resin, buried, and eventually washed up by the tides of the Baltic. To polish it is to acknowledge the immense span of time that sits between the origin of the stone and your own fleeting, precious moment in this hut. It brings a sense of perspective. Your worries, which felt so large and immediate only a few hours ago, are suddenly rendered infinitesimal in the face of this geologic time. You find yourself relaxing further into the bench, your muscles finally letting go of the tension they have carried through the day. The rhythmic motion continues. Swipe, turn, wipe, swipe, turn, wipe. It is a cycle of renewal. As he rubs the leather against the stone, he is not just removing surface imperfections, he is revealing the beauty that was always there, waiting to be seen. You think about your own life in the same way, the layers of stress, the busy work, the noise, and you wonder what might be revealed if you too could just sit by a fire and let the friction of life simply polish away the unnecessary until only the core remains. The room feels increasingly like a private pocket of reality. The windows are nothing more than frames for the dark. If you were to look out, you would see nothing but a reflection of the fire and the artisan's focused face. The world has narrowed down to this: the fire, the ember, the wood, and the peace. It is the perfect container for a wandering soul. You have no need to speak, no need to perform, no need to be anything other than a witness to this craft. The artisan knows you are here, and he is content to share this silence. It is an unspoken pact of comfort. Observe the way the smoke curls toward the rafters, escaping slowly into the chimney stack. It carries with it the faint, sharp smell of the pine logs, a clean, woody scent that clears the mind and settles the heart. It is the smell of the forest, brought indoors and tamed by the hearth. Everything here is intentional. Even the way the chores are arranged reflects a mind that is at peace with its purpose. You feel a sense of profound safety. There is no danger here, only the steady, predictable progress of a task well done. The world can be as cold as it likes outside, but it cannot penetrate the warmth of this firelit sanctuary. The rhythm of the work has become the heartbeat of the room, a steady hypnotic cadence that dictates the pace of your own thoughts. Each time the leather pad moves across the amber, a subtle heat is generated, releasing a faint sweet perfume that hangs in the air like a veil of golden mist. This is the scent of the Baltic, not the salt of the sea, but the prehistoric sap of a world that existed ages ago. It is an intoxicating, earthy aroma that anchors you to the stool, making it feel as though you are sinking deeper into the wood with every passing minute. You watch the artisan's hands, those remarkable weathered instruments of patience. He is a man who understands that progress is not a sprint, but a series of small deliberate gestures. He shifts his position slightly, the old wooden stool creaking in a low, resonant tone that blends into the crackle of the hearth. He picks up a second piece of amber, this one larger and cloudier, and begins the process anew. You notice the way he examines the stone before he starts, feeling for the grain, searching for the hidden inclusions that make every piece of Baltico unique. Some stones hold tiny preserved bubbles of air from thousands of years ago. Others might contain the delicate, ghostly wing of an insect or a sliver of ancient bark. He treats each one with the reverence of a custodian holding history itself. You find yourself fascinated by the light. It doesn't just illuminate the room, it dances. The flames reach up from the iron grate, throwing flickering orange and gold patterns onto the walls, making the rough-hewn oak planks seem to vibrate with life. It is a warm, enveloping light that softens the harsh edges of the world. In this glow, you see the details of the hut, the collection of dried herbs hanging from the rafters, their leaves crisp and darkened. The heavy, iron-bound chest in the corner, likely filled with raw materials or finished treasures. The collection of simple, hand-carved wooden mugs on the shelf, waiting for a hot drink that might come later in the night. Everything here is crafted by hand, built to last, and imbued with the personality of its owner. There is a sense of stability here that is rare. Outside, the merchant ships of Gdańsk are buffeted by winds, their captains praying for safe passage, their fortunes rising and falling with the unpredictability of the sea. But in here, there is no such volatility. There's only the fire, the wood, and the steady, reliable friction of the leather. The artisan is a master of his own small domain. And by being here, you are invited into that domain as a guest who needs nothing, does nothing, and asks for nothing. The wind outside takes a sudden sharp turn, whistling around the eaves of the roof. It is a lonely sound, a reminder of the vast, uncaring wilderness that stretches away from the city. But the sound only serves to heighten the feeling of isolation within the hut. You are inside a fortress of comfort. The thickness of the walls and the warmth of the fire create a boundary that the storm cannot hope to breach. You feel a deep, primitive satisfaction in this separation. It is the joy of the cave, the relief of the hearth, the primal happiness of being sheltered from the cold. Your mind begins to wander, not toward the worries of your own time, but toward the stories that might be trapped within these pieces of amber. What did the world look like when this resin first dripped from a tree? What was the weather like? What sounds filled the air of those ancient forests? The artisan's work is a form of time travel. He is polishing away the debris of the ages to uncover a clear window into the past. As he works, you begin to see the ember not as a commodity, but as a bridge. It connects the deep, silent history of the earth to the warm, flickering reality of this November evening in 1580. The artisan pauses again, his eyes closing for a brief moment. Perhaps he is listening to the fire, or perhaps he is simply enjoying the quiet of his work. He looks content. There is no trace of anxiety in his posture, no sign of the frantic pace of the outside world. He has mastered the art of being in the present. As he opens his eyes and resumes his rhythmic work, you feel a sense of relief wash over you. You realize that you don't need to solve everything tonight. You don't need to plan for the months ahead or untangle the knots of your professional or personal life. You just need to be here. The fire provides the light, the wood provides the structure, and the artisan provides the rhythm. You are the beneficiary of this perfect assembly. You find yourself focusing on the small sounds, the popping of a knot in the pine logs, the soft sigh of the wind in the chimney, the gentle leather on stone whisper of the polishing. These sounds create a cocoon of sensory consistency. They block out the chaotic noise of the world and replace it with a singular, beautiful, repetitive truth. You notice a small, translucent piece of amber that the artisan has finished and set aside on the bench. It glows with an internal fire, catching the orange light of the hearth and amplifying it. It looks like a drop of liquid honey captured at the exact moment of cooling. It is beautiful. It represents the successful end of the process, the transformation from raw, gritty, forgotten stone to a polished, refined gem. It is a symbol of what patience can achieve. It tells you that even the most cluttered or rough edges of your own life can be smoothed away if you are willing to spend the time, sit in the quiet, and trust the process of refinement. The air in the hut is growing warmer, the heat rising to the rafters and settling back down in a gentle rolling wave. It is the kind of heat that makes your eyelids heavy. It is not an uncomfortable heat, but a deep penetrating warmth that relaxes the core of your body. You feel your limbs becoming heavy, your pulse slowing to a resting beat. This is the goal of the night, to let go, to surrender to the atmosphere of the hut, and to allow the artisan's work to dictate your own internal rhythm. You are moving toward a state of profound peaceful rest, cradled by the history of Gdańsk and the warmth of a fire that has been burning, in one form or another, for as long as humans have sought shelter from the cold. The atmosphere inside the hut has deepened into a rich golden sanctuary where time feels suspended, anchored only by the intermittent pops of the hearth fire and the rhythmic grounding friction of the artisan's hands. You are settling into an even deeper layer of relaxation, where your thoughts no longer race but drift like embers rising into the chimney. The artisan remains a silent, unwavering figure, his silhouette framed by the intense radiant glow of the fire. He has moved on to a large, teardrop-shaped piece of amber that seems to hold the very soul of the Baltic within it. As he works the leather over its surface, the material begins to surrender its dull exterior mask. If you look closely, you can see the tiny golden inclusions caught deep within the resin, appearing as faint, shimmering ghosts from a forgotten era. It is a mesmerizing sight, and you find that your focus is locked onto the movement of his hands, which act like a pendulum of calm. Everything in this room serves a purpose, from the sturdy, hand-hewn oak beams above to the well-worn, stone-paved hearth that has surely witnessed countless evenings just like this one. There is a profound sense of continuity here. You are sitting in the same space in the same city and perhaps even experiencing the same elemental comfort that travelers and craftsmen sought out centuries ago. The wind outside, which had been howling with such ferocity earlier, now feels like nothing more than a distant, muffled backdrop, a reminder of the cold world you have successfully left behind. Within these walls, the air remains sweet, thick with the smell of pine resin and wood smoke, an aroma that acts as a soothing balm to your senses. You are beginning to lose track of whether the evening is growing old or if time itself has ceased to be a relevant metric. There is only the warmth, the light, and the task of polishing, which continues with a relentless, gentle consistency. It is important to remember that this stillness is not an accident. It is a deliberate creation of the artisan, whose life is built around the discipline of slow work and the respect for materials that have outlived generations. He understands that to polish amber is to participate in the slow, natural cycles of the earth, in a world that often demands immediate results and constant movement. The scene before you is a quiet, radical act of defiance. By sitting here, witnessing this, you are participating in that same defiance. You are choosing to slow your own internal clock to match the cadence of the leather on the amber. As you watch, you might feel a sudden, intense urge to fully disconnect from the noise of your own life and simply exist here in this moment. We invite you to embrace this feeling of complete surrender. To help you dive deeper into this experience of tranquility, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications. By joining our community, you ensure that you always have a sanctuary to return to, a place where history, imagination, and the power of storytelling converge to help you find peace at the end of a long day. Your support allows us to continue creating these immersive, restful experiences, and we are so glad to have you with us in the heart of Gdańsk. The artisan pauses to wipe his forehead, a thin sheen of sweat having developed from his focused exertion. He takes a long, slow drink from a wooden cup that has been resting near the embers, keeping the liquid warm. He doesn't rush the break. He leans back, his eyes fixed on the fire, allowing his mind to rest just as he is resting his hands. You find yourself mimicking this pause, letting your own shoulders drop, letting your breath reach deep into your abdomen. In this brief respite, the silence of the room becomes palpable, a heavy velvet blanket of peace that wraps around you. The fire seems to respond to the shift, the flames dying down into a soft, glowing bed of coals that radiate a steady, pervasive heat. This is the sleepy hour of the night, where the world is at its darkest and the here is at its most essential. You notice the textures of the room more clearly now. The grain of the wood, the rough surface of the stones, the smooth, cool-looking polish of the finished amber pieces sitting on the bench. Each object tells a story of utility and beauty, and you feel a strange, comforting kinship with them. You are no longer just an observer. You are part of the scenery, a quiet participant in the story of this hut. There is a powerful, almost primal healing found in this kind of environment. When we strip away the complications of the modern world, the screens, the notifications, the endless barrage of information, we are left with something much more fundamental. We are left with our own breath, the presence of others, and the simple physical reality of our surroundings. The artisan's work is a testament to this truth. He does not need complexity to find fulfillment. He needs only the raw materials of the earth and the time to refine them. You feel a wave of drowsiness, a gentle welcoming tide that pulls at your eyelids. It is not an unpleasant sensation, it is the feeling of a day well lived, a transition into the restorative space between wakefulness and deep sleep. The rhythm of the work has become so embedded in your consciousness that you can almost feel the leather on the ember yourself. The sensation of smoothness replacing the roughness. The sensation of order replacing chaos. The heart is a cradle, and you are being rocked by the steady, repetitive motions of the artisan. Continue to let your gaze soften. Don't try to track every movement. Don't try to analyze the process. Just be with it. The fire will stay lit. The ember will continue to shine. The walls will hold firm against the wind. Everything is as it should be. You have found a place of refuge, a pocket of history that exists only for you. In this sanctuary, you are allowed to rest, to heal, and to let go of every burden you carried through the door. The night is deep, but the fire is bright, and the peace is absolute. The rhythm of the evening has settled into an immutable, comforting cycle. The hearth fire has burned down from the aggressive dancing flames of the early evening into a dense, pulsating bed of red-hot coals. This is the stage where the heat is most potent, a radiating wave of warmth that seems to seep through the very floorboards and into the marrow of your bones. The artisan has entered a state of flow, his movements no longer appearing as separate actions, but as a continuous fluid expression of his craft. Each pass of the ladder across the ember is measured, deliberate, and perfectly balanced. The room feels smaller now, not in a claustrophobic sense, but in a way that feels intimate and protective, like being held in the palm of a giant ancient hand. You find your attention drawn to the way the light reflects off the finished pieces of amber scattered across the workbench. They do not just sit there, they seem to glow from within, as if they have absorbed the very essence of the Hearth Fire and are holding it captive for the long cold night. The colors are magnificent. Deep, saturated cognac, flashes of buttery yellow, and subtle milky whites that catch the dim light and hold it with a soft, ethereal quality. These stones have traveled vast distances, birthed by primeval forests, churned by the brutal currents of the Baltic, and finally landed here in this quiet, wind-shielded hut in Gdańsk. To hold them, or even to watch them being polished, is to touch a fragment of eternity. The artisan's breathing has slowed to match the cadence of his hands. Inhale as the ladder sweeps forward. Exhale as the pressure eases. You find yourself locked into this same respiratory pattern. It is a biological synchronization, a way for your body to signal that it is ready to transition into a deeper state of rest. The stress of the outside world, the demands of the harbor, the cold, wet reality of the 158 autumn, all of these things have become irrelevant. There is only the here and now, the warmth of the wood smoke, and the silent, patient labor of the man before you. There is a distinct woody smell that permeates the room, a blend of seasoned oak, pine sap, and the subtle sharp tang of the curing leather. It is the scent of a workshop that has been used for centuries, a smell that carries with it the ghosts of past projects and the promise of future ones. It is a clean, honest smell, devoid of the artificiality that marks the modern era. You feel a strange sense of belonging, as if you were always meant to be here, witnessing this specific moment of creation. The artisan is not just working with his hands, he's communicating with the material, coaxing out its hidden story, revealing the beauty that was obscured by the passage of time. You watch the way he occasionally dips a cloth into a small bowl of linseed oil and rubs it into the amber, then returns to the leather. The friction heightens, the sound becoming a rhythmic, soft friction that is perhaps the most soothing sound you have ever heard. It is a sound that suggests order, precision, and the quiet satisfaction of a job performed with integrity. There is no urgency in his work, no need to produce a set number of pieces by a certain time. He works, because the work is its own reward, because the act of polishing is a conversation with the earth itself. Outside, the storm has shifted. The howling has softened into a steady low frequency hum, a background noise that no longer feels like a threat, but like a lullaby. The hut is a bastion of stability. The timbers groan ever so slightly under the pressure of the wind, a sound like a giant settling into sleep. You are safe. The door is barred, the fire is tended, and you are surrounded by the warmth of centuries of human endeavor. Your eyes are growing heavy, the lids flickering as you struggle to keep them open, though you find you don't really want to look away. You want to capture this feeling of absolute tranquility and hold on to it. It is a feeling of being completely unburdened. All your obligations, all your unfinished tasks, all the people who rely on you, they are all miles away and hours removed. Here, you are a ghost, a traveler from a distant time who has been granted a moment of respite in the heart of a 16th century port city. The artisan finally sets down the piece of amber he was working on. He places it on a velvet cloth near the fire, where the glow can hit it from below. It is perfectly smooth, a teardrop of light. He sighs, a sound of profound contentment, and wipes his hands on his apron. He doesn't move to start another piece. He seems to sense that the time for work is coming to an end. He leans back against the wall, staring into the embers. His face relaxed, his expression one of complete unadulterated peace. You realize that this is the essence of what he has been trying to teach you all evening. The work is important, the craft is valuable, but the ability to stop, to look at what you have created, and to be satisfied with it, that is the true mastery. He has finished his cycle for the day, and he is inviting you to finish yours. The room is quiet, the fire is low, and the world is waiting for you to let go. You are in the safest place you could possibly be, anchored by the stone and the wood, and calmed by the rhythmic, lingering memory of the polish. Everything is slowing down. The heartbeat of the heart is your heartbeat. The warmth of the heart is your warmth. The silence is your sanctuary. There is no reason to think, no reason to plan, no reason to do anything at all. The night has opened its arms to hold you, and for the first time in a long, long time, you feel completely, perfectly at ease. You can feel the weight of the day leaving your body, flowing out through your feet and into the solid grounding floor. You are becoming a part of the history of this room, a part of the quiet, resonant hum of the Gdańsk night. Rest now. Let the flickering light be the last thing you see, and the gentle, rhythmic memory of the leather on the amber be the last thing you hear. You have earned this peace. The fire will watch over you. The transition from the intense focused activity of the artisan to this new quiet stillness is almost imperceptible, a gentle easing of the atmosphere that mirrors the fading of the hearth's bright flames into a soft, steady glow. You are no longer watching the work, you are witnessing the aftermath of creation, the serene period where the artisan allows himself the luxury of simply being. His hands, which had been so active and purposeful, now rest quietly on his knees. The calluses on his palms, earned through a lifetime of handling tools and materials, catch the flickering light, appearing like a topographical map of his own dedication. He is a man at peace with his environment, and his presence is the anchor that keeps you tethered to this moment of profound rest. The silence in the room is not empty. It is filled with the residual energy of the craft. It feels thick, almost tactile, as if the air itself has been polished by the same leather and patience that shaped the amber. You find that you no longer need to exert any effort to stay awake or to focus. The environment has done the work for you, gently guiding you toward a state of complete detachment from the exterior world. The wind outside remains a distant, muffled entity that serves only to emphasize the absolute security of your current position. Go out here under the sturdy beams and within the thick, sheltering walls of the hut. You are beyond the reach of the elements and the chaos of the city. Think of the history that dwells within these walls. This hut has stood for decades, perhaps longer, surviving the harsh winters of the Baltic coast and the shifting tides of history. It has been a site of labor, of sustenance, and of quiet triumph. When you are here, you are not just in a room, you are in a continuum of human effort. The artisan is a representative of those who came before him, the builders, the craftsmen, and the dreamers who found value in the small, beautiful things of the world. By observing him, you are connecting with a legacy that transcends time, a tradition of finding purpose and peace in the tangible, tactile reality of nature and labor. The smell of the room has evolved. The sharp, fresh scent of the resin has mellowed into a warm, lingering fragrance that is both sweet and comforting. It is the smell of a home that has been lived in, a space that has been filled with care and intention. As you sit here, letting your consciousness drift, you might find your mind reflecting on your own life. What are the things you have built? What are the crafts you have mastered? What are the moments of quiet satisfaction that you have collected over the years? Just as the ember needed time and friction to reveal its inner beauty, your own life is composed of these same processes of refinement. Every challenge you have faced has been an act of polishing, shaping you into something more resonant, more luminous, and more enduring. The fire is now a collection of embers, glowing a deep, intense red that illuminates the hearth without overwhelming the room. It is a light that asks nothing of you. It does not require you to read, to speak, or to observe. It simply exists, providing a constant, reliable source of warmth that permeates your clothing and softens your muscles. You feel the chair or the bench beneath you as a firm, supportive foundation. You are grounded, held by the solid architecture of the hut, and shielded from the vast, dark expanse of the night. In this state of near dreaming, you are granted the freedom to let go of the rigid structures of your own daily life. You are not a traveler with an itinerary. You are a soul at rest in a place of sanctuary. The artisan, sensing your relaxation, leans further back into the shadows, his eyes closing, his breathing deep and rhythmic. He is not asleep, but he is in a place of deep contemplation, perhaps reflecting on the pieces he has finished or the long path that brought him to this workbench in Gdansk. You are sharing this space with him, a quiet communion of spirits, separated by centuries, but united by the desire for peace and the appreciation of beauty. It is important to acknowledge that this experience is part of a larger purpose. Sleepy History with Arthur is a sleep history storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional values. We strive to bring the past to life not through the noise of battle or the complexity of politics, but through the quiet human moments that define our shared heritage. By immersing yourself in these stories, you are not just passing time, you are engaging in a practice of emotional restoration. You are allowing yourself the space to breathe, to feel, and to return to your own life with a renewed sense of clarity and inner calm. The darkness outside is total, but it is not a source of fear. Instead, it is the perfect canvas for the warmth of the interior. The contrast between the freezing tempestuous Baltic night and the golden quiet hut is what makes your current state of relaxation possible. You are experiencing the fundamental human joy of shelter. You are experiencing the satisfaction of the hearth. You are witnessing the culmination of the artisan's day, and in doing so, you are finding the perfect conclusion to your own. As the fire pulses, it seems to synchronize with your own heart. Thump, thump, thump. The pace is slow, unhurried, and infinitely soothing. You are drifting into a space where thoughts lose their edges, where the boundaries between your identity and the surroundings begin to blur. You are simply a presence in the hut, a witness to the warmth and the light, and in that simplicity you find your greatest strength. The world outside will continue to turn. The city will wake to another morning of commerce and challenge, but for now you are exempt. You are the guest of history, held in the amber-lit embrace of an artisan sanctuary, safe and perfectly at peace. The embers in the hearth have reached a state of perfect steady luminescence, casting a soft diffuse glow that bathes the entire workshop in a shade of deep honeyed amber. The air is still save for the occasional microscopic pop of a cooling log, a sound so gentle it feels like a secret being whispered between the stones of the chimney. You are now fully immersed in the quietude of this Gdańsk sanctuary, and the sensation of being sheltered is absolute. The thick, salt-dampened oak walls hold back the entirety of the 16th century world, creating a vacuum of peace where only the most fundamental comforts exist. You have left behind the urgency of the port, the demands of the merchant class, and the icy reach of the Baltic wind. All that remains is the warmth of the hearth and the profound stillness of an evening that feels as though it might last forever. As you recline in this space, you notice the way the light catches the dust motes dancing in the air. They drift in slow, lazy spirals, illuminated by the fire, looking like tiny captured stars within the room. It is a mesmerizing sight, a reminder of the quiet, hidden beauty that exists in even the most modest of places. The artisan still resting on his stool has become a feature of the landscape, his form softened by the shadows and his presence providing a comforting human anchor to your experience. He does not need to speak, and neither do you. The silence here is a language of its own, a way of signaling that everything necessary has been said, and now it is time for the soul to simply rest. You feel a growing sense of weightlessness, as if your physical form is becoming as light as the very air that circulates in the hut. This is the culmination of the day's journey, the moment where the body finally realizes it no longer needs to be on guard. You have been protected by the fire, by the craftsmanship of the walls, and by the rhythmic, repetitive nature of the polishing process that preceded this calm. The transition from the active, tactile work of the day to the passive, receptive state of the night is seamless. You are sinking deeper into the bench, your muscles melting into the wood, and your mind letting go of the last remnants of the day's worries. Consider the history of this place, not as a collection of facts, but as a series of lived moments. Think of the thousands of evenings that have unfolded exactly like this one. The fire lit against the encroaching dark, the heavy door barred, the tools cleaned and set aside, and the profound restorative relief of being under a roof that holds. You are participating in a tradition that predates written history. You are experiencing the same fundamental human satisfaction that our ancestors felt when they first learned to build fires and create dwellings. It is a primal cellular recognition of safety. When you are in this hut, you are not just a person in 1580, you are a person who is finally truly at home. The smell of the fire, the slightly bitter clean scent of burning pine, combined with the faint residual sweetness of the amber, is the defining feature of your consciousness. It is a scent that bypasses the rational mind and goes straight to the center of your emotional well-being, signaling that you are safe, you are provided for, and you are surrounded by warmth. It is a scent that even in memory could bring you back to this exact moment of peace. Let it fill your lungs with every slow, deliberate breath you take. As you inhale, imagine the warmth of the hearth expanding within you, filling your chest, your limbs, and your mind with a golden, glowing calm. The artisan shifts, the wood of his stool groaning softly under the movement. He stands, his body moving with the deliberate, careful grace of a man who has spent a lifetime working in close quarters. He does not turn to face you, but there is an acknowledgement in his movement, a quiet recognition of your presence and the shared peace of the room. He walks toward the small heavy shutter window, checking the latch one last time, ensuring that the coal remains outside where it belongs. The metallic clink of the iron latch is the final sound of the night. It is a sound of finality, of a boundary being secured, of a day being brought to a perfect close. He moves to the shadows and retrieves a heavy woolen blanket, draping it over the bench where you sit. The wool is coarse, hand-woven, and heavy with the scent of wood smoke and outdoor life. It is the most comforting thing you have ever touched. As you wrap yourself in its warmth, you feel the final barrier between you and the cold vanish. You are now entirely swaddled in the atmosphere of the hut. The fire is your beacon, the blanket is your shield, and the silence is your kingdom. You find that you can no longer distinguish between your thoughts and the environment. The crackle of an ember, the creak of a cooling beam, the soft rhythmic hum of the wind around the eaves, all of these sounds are now your own. They are the contents of your mind. There is no external intrusion. There is no tomorrow, no past, no future. There is only this room, this fire, and this profound, unshakable peace. You are not waiting for anything. You are not looking for anything. You are simply fundamentally complete. The warmth of the fire is now concentrated in the center of the hut, a golden eye of light that holds the darkness at bay. It is the perfect companion for this hour. As you watch the embers pulse, your awareness narrows further until you are focused solely on the play of light against the wood grain of the floorboards. The world outside is a vast icy void, but here the light is infinite. You are in the heart of the storm, and yet you are entirely untouched. Rest in this knowledge. Let the weight of your body sink into the floor. Let the weight of your thoughts dissipate into the rafters. And let the peace of the hut become the entirety of your existence. You have traveled far to reach this point, and you have finally truly arrived. The stillness of the hut has deepened into a silence so profound that it seems to vibrate with the very essence of the earth. Outside, the world of 1580 continues its turn. The sea crashing against the jagged coastline, the harbor of Gdańsk hunkering down under the weight of the autumn gale. But here, the laws of the universe seem to have been suspended in favor of absolute tranquility. You are no longer merely sitting in a workshop. You are becoming an extension of the room itself. Your breathing has become so quiet that it blends seamlessly with the soft, intermittent settling of the old oak beams, a sound that is less like a noise and more like the hut shifting in its sleep. The fire, now reduced to a brilliant, concentrated heart of white-hot ash and glowing embers, offers a steady, unwavering warmth that acts as a physical anchor. You notice that your sense of time has completely dissolved. There is no urgency to the night, no impending sunrise to chase, no responsibilities to fulfill. Every second is identical to the last, a golden suspended moment of perfect safety. The artisan, still tucked away in the soft shadows of the corner, has become a silent guardian of this sanctuary. His presence is subtle, an unspoken agreement that you are not alone, yet you are completely free from the demands of interaction. It is the purest form of companionship, built entirely on the foundation of shared space and mutual respect for the quiet. The smell of the room remains a constant, comforting presence. It is a blend of aged timber, the sharp, clean scent of Baltic pine, and the faint, lingering sweetness of the amber dust that still coats the surfaces of the workbench. It is a smell that feels ancient, evocative of a time when the world was smaller, when life was measured by the seasons and the cycle of the heart, rather than by the ticking of a clock. As you breathe in this air, you feel a sense of homecoming that is difficult to describe. It is as if some deep, dormant part of your ancestral memory has been triggered, recognizing this space not as a historical curiosity, but as a place where you have always belonged. Consider the journey of the amber once more. It began as tree sap, a sticky golden liquid that flowed from trees that flourished millions of years ago in a world far removed from our own. It was submerged in the ocean, buffeted by tides, buried in sand, and eventually washed ashore, only to be found shaped and polished by the hands of a craftsman who treats it with the same reverence one might give to a holy relic. This is the beauty of the craft you are witnessing. It is the process of taking the raw, discarded remnants of the earth and elevating them to something that can hold light, reflect warmth, and provide beauty. In your own life, you have also been shaped by the elements, by the pressures of your environment, and by the polishing of time. This recognition brings a sudden, sharp clarity to your thoughts, followed immediately by a profound sense of acceptance. There is no longer a need to analyze or to understand. You are simply existing. The heart is the center, the light is the circumference, and you are held safely in the middle. The shadows on the walls are no longer shapes. They are a living, flickering tapestry that dances to the rhythm of the embers. As you watch them, your mind feels as though it is expanding, stretching out to touch the corners of the room, feeling the thickness of the stone walls and the strength of the iron bars on the door. You are secure, you are insulated, you are entirely at peace. Every fiber of your being feels the heaviness of true relaxation. It is a physical weight that starts in the tips of your toes and works its way slowly upward, relaxing the ankles, the knees, the hips, the spine, the shoulders, and finally, the muscles of your face. You feel as though you could remain in this position for an eternity, held by the bench, warmed by the fire, and lulled by the gentle rhythmic sighs of the cooling hut. The world outside has become nothing more than a dream, a fading memory of movement and sound that has no power over you here. The artisan rises slowly to tend to the fire one last time. He uses a long iron poker to gently rearrange the embers, pushing them into a configuration that will hold the heat throughout the remaining hours of the night. Sparks rise in a vertical column, like tiny glowing ghosts, before vanishing into the darkness of the chimney. He works with a quiet, efficient precision that you have come to admire. He is not just maintaining a fire, he is maintaining the heart of the home. He replaces the poker in its stand with a soft clink, and then he returns to his seat, his silhouette finally settling into a state of total motionless repose. You feel a wave of gratitude toward this man and toward this moment. He has allowed you into his world, shared his light, and provided the setting for your own restoration. Sleepy History with Arthur combines the power of AI to reimagine fictional historical tales, bringing peace, relaxation, and positive emotional values to our listeners. This, in its own way, is a form of modern craftsmanship, a way to take the raw materials of history and story and polish them until they shine with the warmth of human connection. You are a part of this now, part of the story, and part of the piece. As the room darkens further, the glowing embers become the only true light, a deep, pulsating orange that mimics the color of the polished ember itself. The connection is striking. The stone and the fire are one, both products of the earth, both sources of warmth and light. You find your eyelids closing, the image of the glowing coals burn into your memory, a beacon of safety to guide you into the deepest, most restorative sleep you have known in a long time. There is nothing left to do. The door is locked, the fire is set, and the night is yours. Let the rhythm of the heart become the rhythm of your own pulse, and let the peace of Gdańsk settle over you like a soft, heavy shroud of winter wool. You are safe, you are held, you are home. The fire has diminished into a bed of deep radiating coals that cast a dim bronze glow across the workshop floor. You are currently in the most serene state of mind, where the boundary between the present moment and the deep, enduring history of this room has completely vanished. The artisan's steady, rhythmic breathing is the only thing that punctuates the silence, acting as a gentle metronome that guides your own heart into a state of absolute calm repose. You find that you no longer perceive the walls as boundaries. Instead, they feel like a protective embrace, a sturdy wooden enclosure that keeps the chaotic winds of the Baltic Sea from ever touching your peace. Every detail of the hut, the rough-hewn texture of the ceiling beams, the slight aromatic scent of pine resin, the faint golden dust that has settled on the workbench, feels intimately familiar, as if you have lived here for 1,000 years. As the night deepens, the weight of the day's journey fully evaporates, leaving you feeling light, unburdened, and incredibly present. This is the goal of our journey tonight, to strip away the noise of the modern world and return to the fundamental human experience of being safe, warm, and quiet. We truly hope this immersive exploration has helped you find the deep relaxation you deserve. If you have enjoyed this journey into the heart of 1580s Gdańsk, please consider supporting our work by subscribing to our channel and sharing this experience with someone who might need a moment of tranquility. Your engagement allows us to continue crafting these detailed historical sanctuaries, ensuring that no matter how loud the world outside becomes, you always have a place to return to for rest and renewal. The air in the room is warm, a dry, comforting heat that feels like a soft blanket wrapped tightly around your shoulders. You watch the embers in the hearth, noticing how they pulse with a soft internal energy. It is as if the fire itself is breathing, mirroring the slow, quiet cycle of the house. You realize that you are perfectly synchronized with this environment. Your heartbeat has slowed to match the deep, resonant thrum of the wind outside, which now sounds less like a storm and more like the low, constant lullaby of the sea. There is no longer any desire to leave, no curiosity about what lies beyond the iron barred door. The entirety of your universe has shrunk to the size of this room, and within these boundaries, everything is exactly as it should be. Consider the act of the artisan, whose presence remains a pillar of calm in the corner. He has finished his work for the day, and in doing so he has modeled a lesson in boundaries and balance. He does not reach for another piece of amber. He does not fret about the trade routes or the state of the harbor. He simply accepts that the day is over and that his labor, though incomplete by the standards of the world, is sufficient for the present. You are invited to adopt this same mindset. Whatever you have left undone, whatever worries were pulling at your mind earlier in the day, they are no longer yours to carry. They are for tomorrow. Tonight, your only obligation is to exist in this glow, to witness the embers, and to allow your body to surrender to the pool of rest. The light is dimming further, the orange of the coals shifting toward a deep velvet red. This is the color of true quiet sleep. Your eyes grow heavy with a pleasant, insistent fatigue. You feel the floor beneath you, the solid, immovable foundation of the hut, and you feel the way the bench cradles your form, supporting you effortlessly. You are held by history, held by the craft of the artisan, and held by the very earth that supports this building. The sense of isolation from the rest of the world is not lonely. It is the ultimate luxury. To be hidden away, to be unreachable, to be perfectly safe. This is the rarest gift. As you drift into the margins of sleep, let the image of the workshop settle deep into your subconscious. Visualize the amber pieces on the workbench, their surfaces now smooth, cool to the touch, and imbued with the captured light of the fire. Imagine the way they must feel, dense, solid, and incredibly calm. Let that sense of solidity enter your own mind, replacing the fragmented, scattered thoughts of your daily life with a single, clear, golden intention to rest. The artisan shifts again, turning slightly, a soft sigh of contentment escaping his lips. It is a sound of human satisfaction, of a life being lived with intention and care. There is a profound, almost spiritual connection in this silence. You are a participant in a long, unbroken chain of humanity that has sought comfort in the hearth. Whether in 1580 or in the present, the fundamental need for shelter, for warmth, and for a quiet space remains unchanged. By grounding yourself in this scene, you are tapping into a universal source of restoration. You are drawing upon the peace that has been cultivated in this hut for generations. As the final vestiges of the day fade away, trust that you are in the right place at the right time. The fire will stay lit. The artisan will remain a silent sentinel. and you will be safe, drifting deeper and deeper into a state of profound, peaceful sleep cradled by the history of the Baltic night. The darkness of the Baltic night has become absolute. A thick velvet curtain pressed against the heavy shuttered windows of the hut. Yet inside, the space remains bathed in the ethereal, pulsating glow of the dying hearth. You have arrived at the threshold of deep slumber, where the edges of reality begin to blur, and the senses soften into a receptive, dreamlike state. The air is warm, thick with the scent of pine wood and the residual earthy perfume of fossilized resin. Every breath you take feels like a restoration, drawing the quietude of the room into your very cells. You are no longer merely an observer of this scene, you are woven into its fabric, a quiet pulse in the heart of this Gdańsk sanctuary. The artisan remains a shadow in the corner, his presence an unwavering anchor of stillness. He has ceased all movement, his posture one of complete meditative ease. He is a man who understands the wisdom of the end of the day, the necessity of silence, and the profound power of simply being. In his stillness, he offers you a final lesson that you do not have to earn your rest. It is your birthright, a natural conclusion to the efforts of the day. As you watch the subtle rhythmic rise and fall of his chest, you feel your own rhythm slowing, your internal clock aligning with the slow, deliberate pace of a century that valued time as a precious, non-renewable resource. Think of the ember again, not as a finished gem, but as a journey. It was once fluid, alive, and vibrant, reaching out to the sun and then captured in the eternal golden suspension of the resin. Now it waits in the quiet of the night, holding its own internal light. You are like that stone. You have traversed the currents of your own life, encountered the storms, and now you are being held in the soft, protective palm of the night. The friction has ceased, the polishing is done. Now there is only the cooling, the settling, and the preparation for the peace that comes when all work is finished. The soundscape of the hut has refined itself into a singular, mesmerizing frequency. There is the low structural groan of the timber as it adjusts to the temperature. There is the soft papery rustle of the wind against the thick eaves, and there is the faint rhythmic ticking of the cooling embers as they expand and contract in the iron grate. These sounds are not disturbances, they are the lullaby of the hut. They speak of a structure that is strong, a shelter that is absolute, and a hearth that is enduring. You find that you can let go of the need to process sound, allowing it to simply flow over you like a gentle, warming stream. Feel the support beneath you. The bench is solid, immovable, and kind. It holds you with a firm, steady grace, asking nothing in return. You are grounded in the physical reality of the workshop, a place that exists to provide, to protect, and to craft beauty. It is the perfect antithesis to the ethereal, often overwhelming nature of our modern world. Here, everything is tangible, everything has a purpose, everything is in its right place. By anchoring your awareness in this physical stability, you create a safe zone where your mind can finally stop searching, stop analyzing, and stop planning. The fire, now a collection of glowing coals, seems to be receding into the depths of the hearth, a subterranean warmth that feels almost like the heat of the earth itself. It is a comforting primal connection to the very ground you are resting upon. This heat is the energy of the world, harnessed and brought indoors to keep the cold at bay. It is the reason humans have clustered together, built walls, and created stories for thousands of years. You are part of that ancient unbroken lineage. You are the latest in a long line of souls to find sanctuary in the light of the fire. Let the light be your guide as you descend further into sleep. Focus on the soft orange pulse of the coals. Imagine that with every pulse, a little bit more of your fatigue is being carried away, dissolved by the warmth, transformed into peace. Your body is becoming heavy, your limbs heavy, your mind heavy with the weight of complete unadulterated comfort. There is no anxiety here. There is no fear of the dark. The dark is only the canvas for the fire, and the fire is the guardian of your rest. Every moment you spend in this state is a gift of self-care. You are doing the work of restoration, healing the parts of your spirit that have been frayed by the day's activities. You are replenishing your resources, building the foundation for whatever tomorrow may bring, but that is for later. For now, the world has stopped. The harbor of Gdańsk is asleep. The merchant ships are stilled in the black water, and the wind has no target. You are in the eye of the calm, safe, warm, and utterly at peace. Allow yourself to drift. Do not fight the pull of the dark. Instead, welcome it as you would a soft, heavy blanket. The rhythm of the artisan's breath is the only sound that remains, a steady, soothing refrain that carries you deeper into the quiet. You are safe, you are held, you are home. The fire is low, but its warmth is infinite, reaching out to cradle you in the quietude of this 16th century refuge. Sink into it. Let go of everything else. You are resting in the heart of the night, perfectly complete, perfectly at ease. The fire has now dimmed to a soft, pulsating glow, a deep crimson heart nestled within the cool gray ash of the hearth. The workshop is bathed in this subdued meditative light which seems to turn the very air into a liquid, golden medium of peace. You are deep within the quiet, a state where the boundaries of your own physical being feel soft, as if you are merging with the sturdy seasoned oak of the heart itself. The cold of the Baltic night, once a looming presence, is now an irrelevant memory, utterly defeated by the persistent, radiating heat of the stone hearth. You have arrived at the deepest layer of the evening, the hour when the world outside is truly utterly still and the sanctuary you inhabit becomes the only reality that matters. The artisan is a silent, immovable presence in the shadows, his silhouette blended into the dark corners of the room. He is the master of this quiet, the architect of this sanctuary, and his presence is the final reassurance you need that everything is in balance. He does not stir, he does not speak. He is an extension of the history of this place, a figure who has witnessed countless nights like this one, and understands that the highest function of a man at the end of his day is to simply rest. By his example, you are granted the permission to cease your own inner noise, to let go of the relentless pursuit of thoughts, and to simply allow the darkness to cradle you. The scent of the room is now at its most profound, the deep resonant perfume of the polished amber, mixed with the faint comforting musk of old dried pine needles and the clean mineral smell of the stone chimney. It is a scent that acts as a sensory tether, anchoring you firmly to the present moment. Each breath feels cleaner than the last, an inhalation of pure history and stillness. You find that with every exhale, you release a little more of the tension that had been clinging to your frame. You are literally unburdening yourself, one breath at a time, shedding the remnants of the day like a snake sheds its skin, leaving the old, worn-out worries behind in the cold outside the door. Think of the structure of the hut. You are surrounded by solid, impenetrable strength. The timbers harvested from the ancient dense forests of the Pomeranian interior have been treated, cut, and fitted together with such care that they form a shell that is both flexible and unbreakable. The wind may howl, the sea may surge, and the years may pass, but this hut remains. It is a testament to the fact that when things are built with intention and care, they provide a lasting refuge. You are safe in this strength. You are cradled by the very wood that holds the roof over your head. Let your muscles soften against the bench, trusting that the structure will hold you indefinitely. The silence is now so complete that you can hear the tiny, rhythmic sounds of the room cooling down, the microscopic metallic click of the iron latch adjusting to the temperature, the soft shifting sigh of the floorboards as the heat distributes evenly, and the very distant, muffled sound of the sea waves hitting the harbor pilings. These are not sounds of disturbance. They are the sounds of a living, breathing house that is caring for its inhabitants. It is a mechanical structural lullaby, a cadence of safety that you are perfectly tuned into. There is no need to decipher these sounds, no need to worry about their meaning. They are simply the background noise of existence in a secure place. Consider the ember again, resting in the dim light on the workbench. It is no longer just a stone. It is a focal point of beauty, a small tangible manifestation of the order that has been brought to the workshop. It represents the successful, orderly completion of the day's work. The artisan has performed his duty, and now the fruits of that labor sit in the dark, gathering the last of the warmth. In your own life, you have worked hard. You have polished your own experiences, faced your own challenges, and created your own internal luster. Whatever you have achieved, whatever work you have put into your own existence is enough. You have earned this moment of quiet. You have earned the right to put down your tools and sit in the light of your own fire. The urge to stay awake has long since vanished, replaced by a gentle, insistent pull toward the interior of your own mind. It is a safe place, free from the demands of the world. You find that you can easily navigate this space, moving from one memory of warmth to another, from one sensation of peace to the next. You are not losing consciousness, you are expanding it, filling the space with a deep, expansive awareness that is entirely free from fear or doubt. The artisan's steady, rhythmic breath remains your anchor, a constant signal that you are not alone, that you are part of a shared quiet humanity. As the embers continue to glow, casting long, lazy shadows across the floor, you feel a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for the fire, for the hut, for the craftsman, and for the piece that has been so carefully, so intentionally prepared for you. You are in a vessel of tranquility and you are being carried toward a shore of deep, restorative slumber. The night is deep, but the light is enough. The wind is cold, but the heart is warm. Everything that needs to happen is happening exactly as it should. Let go. Surrender to the rhythm of the heart and allow yourself to drift into the deepest, most quiet sleep you have ever known. Tucked away in the golden, firelit heart of 1580s Gdańsk. The darkness has fully claimed the corners of the workshop, and the only point of orientation left is the hearth, which now emits a soft amber radiance that feels as ancient as the city itself. You are drifting in the deepest, most quiet waters of the evening, where the distinction between the physical room and your own internal state has entirely eroded. The artisan is still there, a stationary, comforting silhouette in the periphery, his presence acting as a silent, unwavering companion. You find that your pulse has settled into a state of profound calm, matching the slow, steady rhythm of the night. This is the culmination of your journey, a state of being where you are neither striving nor waiting, but simply resting in the embrace of a history that has been preserved just for you. We truly hope this immersive experience has brought you the rest and clarity you were seeking. As you prepare to let the final threads of wakefulness slip away, please consider subscribing to our channel and sharing this sanctuary with others. By engaging with our content, you help keep these stories of comfort and historical peace alive, creating a space that you can always return to when the modern world feels too heavy or too loud. Your presence here is what makes this sanctuary real, and we are grateful to share this quiet firelit corner of 1580s Gdańsk with you whenever you need it most. Think about the physical sensations of the room one last time. The heavy, comforting weight of the wool blanket, the faint, sweet, resinous aroma of the amber dust, the steady, rhythmic warmth radiating from the stone beneath the fire. These sensations are your anchors. They are the reality of your current existence. There is no outside, there is no travel, there is no tomorrow, there is only the here and now, a moment perfectly preserved in the golden glow of a dying hearth. You feel a sense of profound safety, a feeling of being shielded from all possible harm by the sheer, stubborn integrity of this timber frame house. The artisan has finally settled entirely. his head resting against the rough-hewn beam of the wall behind him. He is the image of contentment. He has spent his day in the pursuit of beauty, in the shaping of raw ancient material, and now he is resting in the quiet aftermath of that labor. He is an embodiment of the philosophy that life is best lived with intention and ended with peace. You are allowed to take this same stance. You have lived your life. You have met your challenges. And tonight you have the right to simply close your eyes and let the world take care of itself for a few hours. The air in the hut is still, yet it feels vibrant, filled with the quiet static electricity of the embers and the deep, resonant energy of the wood. It is a charged living space, a home that knows how to care for those within it. You feel the floorboards beneath your feet as a solid, unmoving promise of support. You are grounded in the literal sense of the word, connected to the foundations of the building, and by extension to the earth itself. There is nothing to fear. The night is a protective shield, not a source of anxiety. The wind, which once seemed like an adversary, is now just a distant rhythmic murmur that only highlights the sanctity of your current position. As you begin to let go, try to hold on to the specific golden quality of the light. Imagine it saturating your mind, washing over every worry, every half-formed plan, and every lingering tension from the day. Imagine that the light of the hearth is a physical substance, liquid, warm, and restorative, that is seeping into your thoughts and turning them into golden, amber-like stillness. You are becoming as smooth, as polished, and as calm as the gems on the workbench. The rough edges of your stress are being sanded away by the friction of the quiet. The chalky exterior of your exhaustion is being revealed as a brilliant calm core. There is a final lingering scent of pine smoke that curls toward the ceiling, a ghost of the evening's warmth, reminding you that the fire was once a mighty, blazing thing, and now it is a humble, nourishing force. This is the natural cycle of all things. Strength followed by softness, activity followed by rest. You are now in the softness, in the rest. Do not struggle against the encroaching dark. Embrace it as you would a soft pillow or a heavy cloak. It is the necessary context for the light you have enjoyed all evening. The rhythm of the hut is your rhythm now. The heartbeat of the room, the slow, soft cooling of the materials, the distant, muffled cadence of the Baltic tide. These are the components of your own relaxation. You are being lulled, pulled down into a deep velvety well of peace. The artisan is a silent observer of your rest, a guardian who ensures that the peace remains unbroken. You are perfectly secure, perfectly calm, and perfectly ready to let go of everything. As the last embers flicker, let your eyes close and feel yourself floating away on the gentle, warm current of the night. You are safe. You are held. You are home. The heart has transitioned into a state of profound, dormant power, its heat now a deep, resonant warmth that radiates from the stone and into the very core of the workshop. The light has faded to a soft, pulsating glow, the color of a dying sun captured in the depths of a gemstone. You're floating in the stillness, a space where time has become an entirely subjective, fluid experience. The hut around you feels like a living, breathing entity, a wooden shell that has protected its inhabitants for generations, and now tonight is protecting you. The wind outside has settled into a low, steady drone, a reminder of the vast, uncaring elements that lie beyond the door. But here, the barrier between you and the world is absolute. You find that you are breathing in total synchrony with the room. The air is thin, crisp, and clean, carrying the faint intoxicating essence of pine resin and the slow, steady cooling of seasoned wood. Every inhalation is a restoration of your spirit, filling the quiet, empty spaces of your mind with a sense of clarity and purpose that has been absent for so long. You are no longer thinking in words or concepts. You are feeling the textures of the room. You are the warmth of the hearth, the stability of the floor, and the patient, silent endurance of the artisan sitting in the corner. The artisan has become a master of the night. His presence so integrated into the workshop that he feels like a feature of the architecture itself. He is a silent witness to your state of repose, a guardian who requires nothing from you. In this sanctuary, there is no pressure to perform, no obligation to speak, and no expectation to be anything other than exactly who you are. This is the radical freedom of the workshop, the permission to stop the labor of living and simply exist. It is a liberation that you have been craving, a pause in the relentless forward motion of your life that you have finally miraculously achieved. Consider the objects around you, now resting in the dim golden twilight of the embers. The workbench, the chisels, the mallet, the small finished pieces of amber. They all have stories, histories, and secrets. They are tools of creation, and they are currently resting, waiting for the return of the sun to serve their purpose again. You are doing the same. You are recharging, allowing your own creative and physical energies to pull and deepen in the darkness. You are preparing for the moment when you will wake, refreshed, polished, and ready to meet the world again. But for now, you remain in the suspension of the night, a quiet participant in the cycle of rest. The sense of safety you feel here is not merely physical, it is existential. By stepping through that heavy oak door and barring it against the Baltic coast, you have created a boundary that separates you from your anxieties. The world may still be spinning, the tides may still be rising, and the problems of your life may still be waiting for you, but they cannot reach you here. This hut is a fortress of the spirit. It is a place where you are allowed to be vulnerable, to be tired, and to be unfinished without any judgment from the world. The fire is your witness, and it holds your confidence in its glowing, shifting heart. As the last embers begin to cool, the room grows slightly darker, but your vision adjusts, finding comfort in the soft, subtle interplay of shadow and light. You see the grain of the wood on the walls, the intricate hand-carved patterns on the ceiling beams, and the way the shadows stretch and retreat with the settling of the logs. It is a delicate, beautiful dance, a performance given solely for your benefit. The room is speaking to you in the language of light and shadow, telling you that everything is in flux, everything is changing, and yet everything is perfectly secure. You feel a sense of immense, sweeping gratitude for the artisans of the past, for the people who built this world, and for the simplicity of the craft that has brought you to this moment. There is a deep, fundamental truth in the act of shaping raw material into something of beauty. It is the core of human activity, the thing that gives us meaning and keeps us connected to the earth. Tonight, you are not just a consumer of this story. You are an inheritor of this tradition. You are part of the legacy of those who found their peace in the quiet work of their hands. Your thoughts are now like leaves floating on a slow-moving stream, drifting aimlessly and gracefully toward the horizon. You do not try to grasp them, you do not try to direct them, you let them go, one by one, until there is nothing left but the sensation of warmth and the sound of the silence. The artisan shifts a soft, dry rustle of his clothing, and you hear the long, slow, contented exhalation of a man who has finished his work and is ready for the deep, dreamless sleep of the just. You are mirroring him perfectly. The world is receding, the walls are closing in, and you are finally, truly, perfectly at home. Let the darkness be your final embrace. Sink into the floor, feel the density of the wood and the stability of the stone, and allow your consciousness to fade into the gentle glowing ember of your own inner peace. You are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself in the quietest, most protected corner of the night. Sleep now, held by the history of Gdańsk, warmed by the fire, and cradled by the profound eternal silence of the workshop. Everything you have done is enough. Everything you are is enough. Rest in the golden light. The fire has reached the final, most tranquil stage of its life for the evening. a bed of deep pulsing embers that provide a steady, hypnotic warmth to the room. The workshop is now a sanctuary of silence, where even the air itself seems to have stilled in sympathy with the deep, restorative quiet of the night. You have reached the very center of the experience, a place where you are untethered from the past and entirely unburdened by the future. The physical world of Gdańsk in 1580, with its busy harbor and frigid Baltic gales, exists only as a distant, inconsequential abstraction. The only reality is the one contained within these four oak walls, a reality defined by the radiating heat of the heart and the profound absolute stillness of a soul at peace. Your perception has narrowed to the most essential details. You notice the way the light catches the rough hand-planned texture of the timber walls, highlighting the knots and the natural patterns of the wood. These marks are the fingerprints of the forest, a map of the tree's life, and they now serve as the backdrop for your own quiet transformation. You feel as though you are being held by the very material of the room, as if the hut itself is a cradle designed specifically to ease the burdens of your spirit. The sensation is one of being entirely supported, not just by the bench, but by the weight of history and the intention of those who crafted this space with such care and durability. The artisan remains a motionless silhouette in the corner, his existence now a quiet testament to the beauty of conclusion. He has performed his tasks, he has nurtured the fire, and now he is simply participating in the shared silence. There is a deep unspoken solidarity between you and him. In this moment, you are both travelers who have arrived at the same destination, a place where no further effort is required, and where the only remaining duty is to rest. You find comfort in his presence, a reminder that you are not experiencing this solitude alone, but are part of a quiet human communion that spans the centuries. Think of the precious nature of this stillness in the world you come from. Silence is often feared or filled with noise to avoid the intrusion of thought. But here, silence is a medium, a rich, fertile ground where you can finally hear the truth of your own internal landscape. It is here that you find the things you have been too busy to notice, the steady rhythm of your own heart, the deep natural cadence of your breath, and the quiet, persistent wisdom of your own intuition. You are discovering that you do not need to be constantly engaged to be valuable. You are enough in your stillness, you are enough in your rest. The smell of the room has reached a state of perfect harmony. The pine smoke, the ancient fossilized resin of the ember, and the clean mineral scent of the stone hearth create a fragrance that is deeply grounding. It is an earthy, honest scent, one that speaks of the fundamental necessities of human life. You find that every time you inhale, you are grounding yourself deeper into the floorboards, letting your physical form merge with the stability of the hut. You are becoming a permanent part of this scene, a silent, restful presence in a room that is designed for safety. The wind outside, which had earlier been a source of cold and noise, has now become a distant, almost musical accompaniment to your rest. It hums through the crevices of the eaves, a soft, low-frequency sound that only emphasizes the profound insulation of the workshop. You are inside, you are warm, and you are surrounded by the things that matter. The outside world is simply a backdrop, a chaotic, shifting entity that has no power over the quiet sanctuary you have found. You are the master of your own peace, and you have secured that peace behind the iron bar of the heavy oak door. Consider the progress you have made during this time. You have traveled from the noise of the day into the quiet of the night. You have moved from the complexity of your own life into the simplicity of this workshop. You have learned to see the value in the small repetitive tasks of the artisan, and you have learned to appreciate the steady, reliable grace of a well-tended fire. You have been shaped by the evening, just as the ember was shaped by the leather and the patience of the hands that held it. You are coming away from this night with a renewed sense of what is essential: warmth, shelter, and a quiet, steady heart. As the embers pulse one final time, casting a soft, flickering glow that seems to ripple across the surface of the workbenches and the walls, you feel a deep, inevitable sense of sleep approaching. It is not an abrupt transition, but a gentle, liquid sinking into the dark. You are ready. The fire has done its work. The artisan is ready for his sleep, and you are ready to let go. Everything is balanced, everything is complete. The night is a vast, calm ocean, and you are drifting further and further away from the shore of wakefulness, carried by the warmth of the hearth and the gentle rhythmic hum of the Baltic wind. You are safe, you are protected. The history of this place, the strength of its walls, and the quiet, unyielding peace of the artisan are all working together to ensure your comfort. Nothing can touch you here. No worry can reach you. No demand can pull you from your rest. You are a soul in repose, a traveler who has found home. As your consciousness finally begins to fray at the edges, let the final golden light of the hearth be your guide into the most peaceful restorative sleep you have ever known. The night is long, the hut is secure, and you are exactly where you need to be. The transition of the evening has reached its final, most delicate stage, where the warmth of the hearth and the chill of the Baltic night seem to exist in a perfect unspoken negotiation. The fire is now a bed of deep glowing embers, pulsating with a soft rhythmic intensity that mimics the heartbeat of the hut itself. You are completely enveloped in this atmosphere, feeling the heavy, comforting weight of the air, which is thick with the scent of pine wood smoke and the subtle sweet resin of the amber. There is no longer any separation between you and the environment. The wood, the stone, the heat, and the silence have become one cohesive experience of sanctuary. You are resting in the heart of Gdansk, in a time where the world moved at the pace of a footstep and the flickering of a lamp, and you find that this pace suits you perfectly. The artisan sits in the deep shadows of the corner, his presence now a soft, comforting constant. He has ceased all work, his hands at rest, his eyes closed in a state of quiet contemplation. He is the guardian of this space, the man who ensures that the hearth is tended and the door is barred. Watching him, you feel a profound sense of security. You are not a guest who must leave. You are a witness who has been invited to stay as long as the night requires. There is a mutual understanding between you, a silent acknowledgement that the business of the day is finished and that the sacred restorative work of the night has begun. Think about the texture of the room as you drift toward sleep. The rough-hewn beams above are dark, solid, and protective, their shadows dancing slightly as the embers settle. The floorboards, polished by years of heavy boots and steady pacing, feel firm and grounding under your seat. Every object in the room, the tools, the bowls of unfinished work, the iron pokers, has been placed with intention. This is a workshop that has been refined over decades, and every inch of it reflects the steady, disciplined hand of its owner. You feel a sense of kinship with these objects, as if they too are preparing for the long, quiet hours of the night. The sounds of the environment are now your only companions, and they are beautiful in their simplicity. The wind, which had been a restless howling force earlier in the evening, has retreated to the eaves, where it makes a faint, high-pitched whistling sound that is almost like a lullaby. The fireplace emits a low, percussive sound as the charcoal crumbles and shifts, a quiet, granular noise that reminds you of the artisan's earlier work. And there is the sound of your own breath, slow, deep, and measured, which has become the most important rhythm in the room. You are no longer thinking. You are simply listening. You are no longer acting. You are simply receiving. This is the state of total unadulterated rest. You have spent your entire day navigating the complexities of the modern world, making decisions, solving problems, and managing your energy. But here, those requirements are suspended. You are permitted to let the armor fall. You are permitted to stop the internal monologue. You are allowed to be empty, to be quiet, and to be entirely at ease. This is not a luxury. It is a fundamental need, a way for your spirit to reset and for your mind to find its center. The hearth is the catalyst for this reset, the source of warmth that keeps the frost of the Baltic away and invites you to sink into your own center. As the embers continue to glow, casting their soft orange light onto the walls, you feel your body becoming heavy, as if the floor is slowly pulling you into a deeper, more relaxed state. You are being cradled by the architecture of the hut. You feel the weight of the blanket, the hardness of the bench, and the comforting pressure of the room around you. There is nowhere else to be. There is nothing else to do. The world has effectively vanished, replaced by this intimate, firelit space that is designed for one purpose, your safety and your peace. Consider the amber pieces one more time, lying on the workbench. They have been transformed, smoothed and polished until they reflect the firelight with a clear, honest glow. They are symbols of what happens when we stop rushing and start paying attention to the material of our lives. They have been brought from the rough, jagged state of the sea into the refined, beautiful state of the gem. You are in the process of the same transformation tonight. The friction of the day has been smoothed away by the stillness of the evening. The jagged edges of your stress have been rounded off by the warmth of the hearth. You are ready to shine, but for now, you are ready to rest. The darkness is not an end, it is a medium. It is the vast, quiet canvas upon which the fire paints its final flickering images of the night. Do not be afraid to follow the light into the darker, softer corners of your own mind. It is a place of deep, rich shadows where you can finally truly release the burdens you have been carrying. You have a guardian, you have a shelter, and you have a fire that will last as long as it needs to. Everything is held in a perfect golden suspension. As you finally succumb to the weight of your eyelids, let the last image you hold be that of the hearth, a steady, warm, and constant companion. The wind will continue. The city of Gdańsk will continue to sleep, and you will continue to be exactly where you are, in the absolute unshakable center of your own peace. There is nothing to worry about. The night is yours, and the rest you're about to receive is earned, deserved, and perfect. Sleep, breathe, and let the history of the room wrap around you like a warm protective cloak. You are home, you are safe, you are at rest. The fire has now reached a state of deep, subterranean embers, a smoldering heart of red and violet that gives off a heat so steady and profound. It feels as if the very air has thickened with warmth. The workshop has become a cocoon, a space where the passage of time is no longer measured by the frantic ticking of a clock, but by the slow, natural cycles of cooling timber and settling ash. You are drifting in the deepest reaches of the night, a place where reality is soft at the edges, and the only thing that remains firm is the feeling of absolute, unwavering safety. The artisan, still a silhouette of calm in the corner, has finally allowed his head to rest fully against the wall, his presence a silent testament to the completion of the day. You are sharing this silence with him, a quiet communion that feels as ancient as the city of Gdańsk itself. The scent of the hut has become the very definition of home. It is a complex layered perfume, the deep woody base of the oak beams, the sharp aromatic bite of the pine logs that were fed to the fire hours ago, and the faint sweet and resinous ghost of the ember that has been polished into brilliance. Every breath you take acts as a lullaby, pulling you deeper into the interior of your own mind, away from the external stimuli that usually dominate your existence. You feel a strange sense of expansion, as if your awareness is stretching to fill the room, touching the grain of the wood, the cold surface of the stones by the door, and the soft, glowing light of the hearth. You are not a guest in this hut, you are part of its structure, a quiet, resting element in a space designed for protection. Consider the journey that led you here. You have walked through the streets of a bustling port city, felt the bite of the autumn gale, and eventually found your way to this specific, modest door. You have traveled from the noise and complexity of a life lived in motion to the stillness of a life lived in reflection. The transition was necessary, and the reward is this: the ability to sit, to witness, and to be perfectly still. You have learned that the world can be managed not by constantly doing, but by occasionally stopping, and that in the silence of a well tended room, you can recover the parts of yourself that the world tries to wear away. The sounds of the night are now your only link to the outside world, and they are transformed into a comforting, rhythmic pulse. The wind has softened into a gentle, persistent sigh that curls around the corners of the roof, a sound that is purely structural and inherently safe. The hearth emits the occasional soft crackle of a cooling coal, a sound that is as natural as the beating of a pulse. These are the sounds of a house that is resting, a structure that is doing its job of keeping the elements at bay. You find that your own breathing has become a part of this soundscape, a slow, regular cadence that aligns with the environment. You are no longer distinct from the room, you are an extension of the peace that fills it. Everything about the hut reflects the discipline of the artisan. The tools are clean, the materials are sorted, and the space is maintained with an eye for both beauty and utility. You see this same discipline reflected in your own capacity for rest. You have learned to put your tools down, to set aside the burdens of the day, and to accept that what you have accomplished is enough. There is a profound dignity in this acceptance. It is the wisdom of the craftsman who knows that there will always be more work tomorrow. But tonight the fire is the only thing that matters. As you lean back, the hard wooden surface of the bench feels soft and accommodating. Your body has given up its need for posture, allowing the weight of your frame to be fully held by the furniture. It is a relief, a release of tension that starts in the spine and flows through the limbs, leaving behind a sensation of lightness. You feel as if you are floating in the warmth, suspended in the amber-lit space, carried by the stability of the walls. There is no anxiety about how the night will progress or what the morning will bring. There is only the deep, undeniable satisfaction of this current perfect moment. The darkness beyond the hearth is not empty. It is a rich velvet backdrop that gives the fire its meaning. You recognize that you have needed this darkness to fully appreciate the warmth of the light. Life is much the same. The challenges, the cold, the uncertainty, they are the necessary elements that give the moments of peace their intense glowing value. You have had your fair share of the cold, and now you have been given this beautiful golden segment of time to recover. Accept it with an open heart. Do not look for anything else. Do not search for a hidden meaning. The peace is the meaning. The artisan makes a slight movement, a shift of his legs as he settles deeper into sleep, but he does not wake. He is in the same place. You are the sanctuary of the subconscious. You are bonded by this shared rest, a brotherhood of travelers who have found the same harbor. The fire pulses one last time, a bright fleeting bloom of orange that lights up the entire ceiling for a brief second, showing you the massive sturdy beams that hold the roof, the dried herbs hanging like quiet offerings, and the final beautiful polished gem sitting on the bench. It is a perfect tableau of a life lived in accordance with nature. As the light fades back into the embers, let your focus settle on the feeling of being held. You are safe. The city of Gdańsk is silent, the Baltic is calm, and the fire is watching over you. Let your eyelids drift shut and feel the heavy, warm current of sleep rising to meet you. You have done enough. You have traveled enough. You are home. Let the rhythm of the room become your final fading memory before you slip into the profound, restorative sleep that this night was made for. The workshop is yours. The warmth is yours, and the peace is yours to keep until the morning sun finds the threshold. Sleep and be at rest. The workshop has settled into the deepest phase of the night, where the hearth is no longer a bright flicking dance of flames, but a steady, radiating source of infrared warmth that seems to seep into the very wood and stone of the structure. The air is still dense and remarkably clear, carrying the faint, lingering fragrance of pine resin and the clean mineral scent of the stone floor. You are in a state of complete unburdened existence, a place where your consciousness is no longer anchored to the external requirements of the world, but is instead floating in the golden honeyed light of the embers. The artisan remains a presence in the corner, his breathing so slow and rhythmic that it has merged with the low structural hum of the hut, a sound that is as much a part of this space as the heavy oak beams overhead. There is a profound, almost primal satisfaction in being sheltered. Outside, the Baltic night is a cold, indifferent expanse, a world where the elements reign supreme and the sea dictates the rhythm of survival. But here, within these thick timber-framed walls, you have achieved a total triumph over the environment. You are warm, you are dry, you are protected, and you are surrounded by the tangible evidence of a life built on skill and dedication. This sanctuary is not just a building, it is a manifestation of the desire for safety and order that has defined humanity since the first fire was built in the first cave. You are, in this moment, the beneficiary of thousands of years of human evolution, enjoying the peace of the hearth as your ancestors did, knowing that you are safe from the dark. Consider the clarity that comes from this stillness in the rush of your daily life. Your thoughts are often like the surface of a disturbed pond, choppy, reflected, and fragmented. But here, in the quietude of this Gdańsk hut, that pond has become a mirror, still and deep. You are able to see your own thoughts clearly, to acknowledge them without being caught in their current, and to let them pass by like leaves drifting on the water. There is no urgency to fix anything, no pressure to reach a conclusion, and no need to prove yourself to anyone. You are simply a witness to your own existence, a peaceful, observant soul in a golden, firelit room. The objects on the workbench, the tools of the artisan's trade, are now resting, their forms softened by the dim light, appearing almost as sculptures in their own right. You see the file, the polishing cloth, the small wooden mallet, all neatly arranged as if they are waiting for the sun to return. They are the instruments of creation, and tonight they are participating in the rest that every creator deserves. You find that you have a deep, quiet respect for these objects. They represent the ability to change the world, to shape the raw materials of nature into something beautiful, and they remind you that you too have the power to shape your own life. But for now, that power is held in reserve. Tonight, the only creation you are tasked with is the creation of your own peace. The sensation of the blanket wrapped around you is the most comforting thing in the world. It is thick, coarse, and warm, a layer of protection that feels like a physical barrier against the worries of the outside. You feel the weight of it, a gentle pressing pressure that helps you to let go, to melt into the bench beneath you, and to surrender your muscles to the gravity of the room. Every time you breathe in, the warmth of the room fills your chest. Every time you breathe out, the remaining tension in your body flows into the wooden floor, dissipated and neutralized by the ancient steady earth. You find your mind drifting toward the amber once again. It is a material that has survived the pressure of the earth, the passage of eons, and the relentless grinding of the sea, only to end up here, being polished by a man who knows its true worth. It is a reminder that resilience is a quiet, hidden process. You do not always see the transformation while it is happening. You only see the result after the work is done. You are in the midst of your own transformation tonight, in the quiet, hidden work of resting, of healing, and of refining your own internal state. You do not need to be aware of the progress. You only need to be present for the process. The darkness beyond the here is a comfortable encompassing thing. It is the natural end of the day, a curtain that is being drawn by the universe to allow you the space to retreat. You are not losing the day, you are gaining the night. You are gaining the chance to disconnect, to turn inward, and to reconnect with the sources of your own strength. The fire, which has been your guide and your companion all evening, is now entering its own state of dormancy, its embers growing dim and soft, a fading beacon of the warmth it has provided. It is a beautiful, peaceful image, a perfect conclusion to the hours you have spent here. As you begin to lose the last fragile threads of your wakefulness, you feel a sense of profound, unshakable safety. There is no part of this environment that is not dedicated to your comfort. There is no part of your history tonight that is not a testament to the peace you have earned. Let the last flickers of the red embers become the focal point of your closing eyes. Let the sound of the artisan's rhythmic breathing become the metronome of your own descent into sleep. You are safe. You are warm. You are sheltered. You are entirely, perfectly at rest in the heart of a 1580s Gdańsk evening, protected by the fire and the wood, and cradled by the profound eternal silence of the Baltic night. The workshop has entered the final, most silent hour of the night. The hearth has ceased its active crackling, leaving behind a deep, glowing bed of embers that cast a soft, bronze luminescence across the rough timber floor. The air is perfectly still, a vacuum of peace where the only movement is the slow, almost imperceptible curling of smoke toward the chimney. You are now deeply immersed in the restorative power of this sanctuary. The physical world of the 16th century, with its demanding trade, its shifting politics, and its relentless maritime hustle, has completely receded, leaving only this singular golden space of refuge. You are at the absolute core of the Gdansk winter, held in the amber-lit embrace of an artisan's hut, and the sense of safety you feel is absolute. The artisan has finally let go of the day's work entirely, his form curled comfortably on his low bench, his breathing synchronized with the very rhythm of the building. His presence is no longer that of a master at work, but that of a guardian who has ensured the fire is secure and the world is barred out. There is a deep, unspoken bond between you in this darkness, a shared understanding that the hard work of living has been momentarily suspended in favor of this profound, restorative quiet. You feel a wave of gratitude toward him, not just for the warmth he has provided, but for the example of his peace. He is a man who knows that even the most beautiful work must yield to the necessity of rest. Focus your attention on the tactile reality of your surroundings. Feel the rough, solid wood of the bench beneath you, a material that has survived years of damp, cold, and heavy use. Feel the weight of the hand-woven wool blanket draped over your shoulders, a heavy, familiar comfort that smells faintly of wood smoke and the earth. You are entirely insulated. The thick oak walls of the hut are a barrier against everything that is chaotic or cold. In this enclosure, you have total agency over your state of mind. You have chosen this quiet, and now the quiet is choosing to embrace you. The scent in the room, that unique, mesmerizing blend of pine, fossilized resin and stone, is the defining feature of your consciousness. Is a scent that feels like a homecoming, a primal recognition of a place where one is truly safe. As you breathe, notice how the air itself seems to soften. It is no longer just gas and heat, it is a warm, enveloping blanket that enters your lungs and calms the turbulence of your heart. With every slow, deliberate exhale, you are shedding the final clinging remnants of the day. The emails you didn't send, the chores you didn't finish, the minor anxieties that usually clutter your mind. Here in the heart of 1580, none of those things exist. They are illusions, and you are finally seeing through them. Think of the ember once more. It is a material that has defied the decay of millions of years. holding within it the trapped energy of ancient sun-drenched forests. To sit in the same room with these stones is to sit with history itself. They are the artifacts of a world that existed before human conflict, before the rise of the great port cities, and before the modern struggle for time. They are the ultimate symbols of permanence in a world that is always changing. As you observe them resting on the workbench, you feel a connection to that permanence. You are not just a fleeting visitor, you are a witness to something that lasts. And for tonight, you are being invited to last with it. The silence is now so profound that it takes on a physical weight. It is not an oppressive silence, but a nourishing one, a space where your thoughts can slow down, widen, and eventually come to a total halt. You find that you can hear the very house settling, a deep, resonant groan of the foundation, the tiny, sharp pop of a cooling nail, the soft, sweeping sound of the wind around the chimney. These are the sounds of a house that is standing guard over you. You are the guest of the hut, and the hut is performing its duty of protection with a quiet, efficient, and unwavering resolve. You are no longer fighting the fatigue, you are welcoming it as a long lost friend. It is a pleasant, heavy sensation that starts at your temples and travels down to your fingertips, a slow, wave like motion that tells your body it is time to relinquish all control. You have held on to the reins for so long. The reins of your schedule, your responsibilities, your self image, and tonight you are letting them go. The artisan does not need you to be anything. The fire does not need you to be anything. You are simply a soul in transition, moving from the light of the day into the restorative dark of the night. The embers pulse one last time, a gentle golden glow that highlights the dust motes dancing in the air like tiny suspended stars. It is a final beautiful reminder that even in the dying of the light, there is grace. You are filled with a sense of completeness. Everything that happened today has led to this moment of absolute, undisturbed peace. You are not missing anything. You are not late for anything. You are exactly where you were destined to be, tucked away in the deep wooden heart of the Baltic coast. Let your eyes grow heavy, and let the image of the hearth fade into the darkness. Do not try to hold on. The darkness is safe. It is the place where the soul repairs itself. You are held by the history of this room, warmed by the embers of this fire, and silenced by the beauty of this evening. Sleep is not just a destination. It is a grace, and you are receiving it now, with a heart that is quiet, grateful, and entirely at rest. The world will be there in the morning, but for now, the world is gone, and you are perfectly, beautifully alone in your sanctuary. Sleep now, held by the ancient steady hands of the night. The atmosphere of the workshop has distilled into a singular, pure essence of tranquility. The fire has dimmed to the final radiant embers, glowing with a deep pulsating warmth that anchors the entire room in a soft bronze light. You are in the deepest valley of the night, a place where the clamor of the outside world, the politics of 1580, the biting Baltic winds, the endless demands of the port are effectively non-existent. You are suspended in a pocket of history, a sanctuary of wood and stone that has been prepared through the quiet, repetitive labor of the artisan to provide you with the ultimate rest. Your breathing is no longer a conscious effort. It is a subconscious, rhythmic process that harmonizes with the slow, settling groans of the heavy oak rafters above. It is here, in the quietest, most protected corner of the night, that you realize how vital these moments of intentional retreat truly are. This journey into the heart of a craftsman's hut has been a path back to yourself, a way to strip away the unnecessary layers of modern noise and rediscover the fundamental grounding power of the hearth. To continue this journey with us, to always have a quiet, historical sanctuary to return to whenever the world feels overwhelming. We invite you to subscribe to our channel and join our community. Your support enables us to keep crafting these immersive, peaceful experiences. And by turning on notifications, you ensure that you are always invited back to the warmth of the fire, the scent of the pine, and the restorative silence of these forgotten corners of history. Think of the artisan, still resting in the soft, dark corner of the room. He is a man who understands that true power lies in the ability to stop. He has spent his life shaping materials, but tonight he is simply existing in the quiet that he has earned. His rest is your permission. You are witnessing the absolute healthy conclusion to a day of meaningful labor. There is no guilt in his sleep, and there is no shame in your own need for silence. By simply staying here, observing the slow pulse of the dying embers, you are validating your own right to be at rest. You are learning that the world will not fall apart if you stop running. Rather, you will be the one who is finally put back together. The room feels like a vessel, a sturdy, hand-built ship sailing through the sea of the Baltic night. The timbers are the hull, the hearth is the anchor, and you are the cargo, safe and secure in the hold. The wind remains a distant, muted backdrop, a reminder of the vast, uncaring elements that define the northern coast, but it cannot penetrate the thickness of the oak. Every time you inhale, you fill your lungs with the clean, dry air of the workshop, an air that feels scrubbed of all anxiety, leaving behind only the calm, grounded reality of the present moment. You are anchored in the earth, cradled by the history of this place, and protected by the strength of its walls. Consider the resilience of the ember once more. For millions of years it remained in the dark, buried under the weight of the sea and the sand, only to be brought into the light and transformed into something that catches the sun. Your life is mirroring this process tonight. You are in the dark, in the quiet, in the space between the activities of the world. And this too is a form of transformation. You are becoming softer, more resilient, and more luminous. You are being prepared for the task of tomorrow by the stillness of tonight. Do not fight the darkness. It is the necessary, quiet womb from which your renewed strength will eventually emerge. The sounds of the room are becoming your final connection to the waking world. The faint, rhythmic ticking of the hearth as it cools, the soft, distant shiver of the wind against the chimney stones, and the deep, heavy, and infinitely peaceful breath of the man in the corner. These are not distractions. They are the anchors that hold you in the reality of this 1580s sanctuary. They are the evidence that life is continuing, that safety exists, and that peace is possible. Every sound is a reassurance. Every moment of silence is a gift of restoration. You feel a profound, sweeping sense of gratitude for this experience. It has been a bridge between the noise of the day and the sanctuary of the night. You have been given the rare opportunity to sit in the light of an ancient fire, to witness the quiet pride of a craftsman, and to feel the total, unadulterated comfort of a home that is built with care and integrity. You have been a part of the history of Gdańsk, if only for a few hours, and that experience is now yours to keep, a permanent quiet memory you can return to whenever you need to find your center again. As the embers pulse for one of the last times, you feel your consciousness drifting like a boat moving slowly away from a lit harbor and into the quiet starlit expanse of the night. It is a beautiful, peaceful departure. You are not losing your awareness. You are simply allowing it to rest. You are allowing the story to come to a close so that the rest can finally begin. There is no need to finish the work, no need to clean the bench, no need to bar the door. The artisan has done everything, and the hut is standing strong. You are safe, you are warm. You are perfectly, beautifully at rest. Sleep and let the peace of the Gdańsk night wrap around you like the warmest, heaviest, and most protective cloak you have ever known. The fire has now reached the final glorious stage of its nightly existence, a deep, pulsating core of embers that glows with the intensity of a dying star, casting a warm bronze shimmer over every surface of the room. The workshop is bathed in this soft golden light, which seems to turn the very air into a tangible medium of peace. You are deep within the restorative embrace of this 1580s sanctuary, and your sense of time has dissolved entirely. The world outside, the bustling trade of the Hanseatic League, the chill of the Baltic wind, and the relentless passage of the seasons are all irrelevant. There is only this room, this warmth and the quiet, rhythmic settling of the old oak beams as they adjust to the cooling temperature of the night. You have arrived at the final threshold of sleep, where the mind is perfectly quiet, the body is completely relaxed, and the spirit feels truly profoundly at home. The artisan has become a statue of repose, his form a gentle silhouette in the corner, his breathing so slow and harmonious with the room that he feels like an extension of the very architecture. He is the master of this piece, the one who has maintained the fire, polished the gems, and held the boundaries of the sanctuary against the cold of the outside world. By observing him, you feel a deep, reassuring validation of your own state. You have successfully navigated the day. You have fulfilled your duties, and now, like him, you are invited to let go. There is no higher purpose for a human being at the end of a long day than to simply sit in the warmth, to breathe the clean air, and to surrender to the necessity of rest. It is a fundamental truth, as old as the hearth itself, and you are living it in this very moment. Think of the materials that surround you, the seasoned dark oak of the walls, the cool smooth stone of the fireplace, and the faint sweet and golden scent of the amber dust that hangs in the air. These are the elements of a life lived in proximity to the natural world, a life where the things we use are made with intent and handled with respect. You are surrounded by beauty, even if it is the beauty of a simple functional workshop. You find that your own mind is beginning to mirror the craftsmanship of the artisan. You are refining your thoughts, smoothing away the sharp edges of your stress, and polishing your intention until all that remains is a single clear purpose: to be at peace. You are not a traveler in a strange land. You are the owner of this quiet, and you are free to stay as long as you need. The sounds of the night have become a lullaby of structural safety. The low, deep creak of the rafters as they hold the weight of the roof, the soft, shifting collapse of an ember in the grate, the distant, muffled, and rhythmic wash of the waves against the harbor pilings. These are the sounds of a world that is perfectly in place. You are not trying to change these sounds, or understand them, or fight them. You are merely allowing them to exist. They are the background music of your own relaxation, a gentle, hypnotic cadence that is pulling you deeper into the dark, velvety expanse of sleep. You feel yourself sinking into the bench, your muscles melting into the surface, your bones feeling heavy, grounded, and secure. Consider the journey you have taken to reach this point. It was not just a walk through the streets of Gdańsk. It was a journey from the complexity of your own mind into the sanctuary of the night. You have brought your worries, your lists, and your unfinished plans to the door, and you have left them there, safely outside. They are not allowed in this room. This room is reserved for the essential, for warmth, for quiet, and for the restoration of the soul. You have succeeded in creating this space, and you have earned the right to inhabit it. The satisfaction of a day well lived is a heavy golden weight that presses you toward the floor, and you are happy to let it take you. The scent of the workshop is now a part of your consciousness. It is the smell of a home that is loved, a space that has been lived in, and a place where life is nurtured. It is the smell of the fire that provides for us, the wood that shelters us, and the work that gives our time meaning. As you breathe, you feel this scent filling the hidden corners of your mind, washing over the areas where stress has left its mark, and replacing that exhaustion with a profound cool and clean sense of renewal. You are being replenished by the very atmosphere of the room. As the embers pulse one final soft time, you feel a surge of gratitude for the persistence of the light. It has been a constant companion all evening, a warm golden eye in the darkness that has watched over you, kept you safe, and reminded you that even when the night is long and the cold is sharp, there is always a source of heat. You have found that heat tonight, and you will carry it with you long after the embers have gone out. It is the internal heat of peace, the fire of a calm heart, and it is yours to keep a permanent resource in the landscape of your spirit. There is nothing more to do. The door is locked, the fire is set, and the world is waiting for you to finish your sleep. You are in the safest place in the world, in the deep wooden heart of the Gdańsk night. Let your eyes close. Let the darkness of the room merge with the darkness of your mind. You are drifting on a sea of absolute, unshakable safety, carried by the warmth of the hearth and the rhythm of the artisan's breath. You are finished, you are complete, you are home. Sleep now, and let the peace of this evening hold you until the morning, perfect and profound. The fire has transformed into a subterranean landscape of deep glowing embers, an ancient and quiet furnace that radiates a steady, life-affirming heat throughout the workshop. You are existing in the final, most tranquil minutes of the evening, where the distinction between the physical walls of the hut and the boundaries of your own consciousness has entirely dissolved. The air is perfectly still, dense with the scent of wood smoke, old oak, and the faint, sweet, resinous memory of the amber that has been polished under the artisan's patient hands. You are floating in a sea of absolute, unassailable stillness. The world of 1580, with its maritime commerce, its frigid Baltic winds, and the endless churning activity of the port, is now nothing more than a faint, distant whisper, completely unable to penetrate the thick, protective shell of this sanctuary. The artisan is a silent, immovable presence in the shadows, his silhouette a testament to the beauty of a day brought to its natural, graceful conclusion. He is not a person of words, but of actions. He is a man of fire, of timber, and of tools, and his presence offers a wordless, powerful comfort. He has provided the space, the warmth, and the safety you needed, and in doing so, he has taught you the most valuable lesson of the night, that peace is not something you find, it is something you build, one block of time, one moment of attention, and one act of care at a time. As he drifts deeper into his own well-earned sleep, you feel a profound sense of gratitude, not only for his company, but for the quiet, unshakable example he sets. You are not alone in this stillness. You are part of a long, unbroken lineage of souls who have sought and found refuge in the warmth of the hearth. Consider the architecture of the hut one last time, with the gratitude of someone who has been truly sheltered. The heavy hand-hewn oak beams above are not just structural supports, they are a shield, a promise of permanence that allows you to let your guard down completely. You feel the weight of the years in this wood, the seasons it has weathered, the storms it has stood against, and the countless quiet nights like this one that have been spent within its walls. You are participating in a tradition that is as old as the city of Gdańsk itself. You are resting in a space that was designed for the sole purpose of survival and restoration. And tonight, that purpose is being perfectly fulfilled. The floorboards beneath you feel like the very foundation of the earth, solid, reliable, and unmoving. The silence is no longer empty. It is full. It is full of the potential for renewal, full of the wisdom of the past, and full of the promise of rest. You find that you can listen to the room as if it were a symphony. There is the low, structural groan of the cooling rafters, the faint metallic chime of the iron latch in the distance, and the soft rhythmic expansion and contraction of the cold stone in the fireplace. These are the components of your safety, the rhythmic heartbeat of your shelter. You are perfectly in sync with these sounds. Your own heartbeat has slowed to match them, and your breath has become a quiet, gentle tide that ebbs and flows with the atmosphere of the room. You have no need to speak, no need to think, and no need to move. You are in the eye of the storm, and the storm cannot touch you here. Think of your life as you arrived at this door earlier in the evening, the frantic nature of the day, the weight of the task still waiting for your attention, the constant low-level hum of anxiety that follows us everywhere. All of that has been left outside, along with the cold and the dark of the Baltic coast. You have successfully created a perimeter that is guarded by the fire and the wood. You are the master of this internal space. Whatever happens tomorrow, whatever tasks await your return, they have no power here. They are on the other side of the oak door, waiting while you are here in the warm golden center of your own existence. This is a vital, necessary skill. The ability to step away from the narrative of your own life and simply exist as a human being, needing nothing but warmth and sleep. The ember on the workbench remains a focal point of the room's lingering, soft light. You see them as small, solidified moments of sunlight, trapped in resin, preserved against the passage of time. They are the perfect metaphor for the time you have spent in this hut. This evening is your own piece of amber, a golden, preserved moment that you can return to in your mind long after you have left this place. It is a moment of total clarity, total warmth, and total peace. Whenever the world feels too fast or too loud or too cold, you can close your eyes and remember the smell of the pine, the feeling of the heavy wool blanket, and the sight of the embers glowing in the dark of a 1/5/8 workshop. You are carrying this sanctuary with you, a light that will never go out. The darkness of the room has become your friend. It is not an absence, but a presence, a soft velvet cloak that is draped over the world to help you transition into the depths of your own subconscious. You are ready to let go of the last few lingering thoughts. You are ready to let the final images of the workshop fade into the void. You are ready to surrender to the overwhelming sweet pull of sleep. The fire is still watching. The artisan is still resting, and the walls are still holding. You have done everything you needed to do. You have completed the journey. You have reached the shore. As you finally let your consciousness slip into the deep, welcoming abyss, feel the peace of the Gdańsk night wash over you. One final gentle wave of tranquility. You are drifting on the current of the Baltic, safe in the cabin of your own spirit, warm with the fire of your own intention. There is no tomorrow yet. There is only this instant, this perfect, golden, quiet instant. You are held, you are safe, you are at home. Sleep deeply, sleep well, and let the history of this night be the foundation of your peace. The light of the embers is the last thing you see, and the warmth of the room is the last thing you feel as you descend into the profound restorative depths of the dark. Everything is right, everything is complete, the night is yours. The night has matured into a state of absolute velvet stillness, where the only movement in the workshop is the occasional soft settling of cooling iron and the rhythmic, almost imperceptible rise and fall of the artisan's chest. The embers in the hearth have transitioned from a pulsing orange to a deep smoldering red, a color so profound it seems to absorb the darkness rather than push it back. You are floating in a void of perfect comfort where the very concept of time has been stripped of its urgency. You are no longer measuring your existence by the ticking of clocks or the shifting of shadows, but by the slow, steady inhalation of air that smells of ancient forests and the deep grounding scent of the earth. The hut has become a microcosm of the universe, and within it, you are the singular, quiet center. You feel a profound sense of physical grounding. The bench beneath you is no longer just wood. It is a solid, unmoving platform that holds you with the same reliability as the earth itself. Every muscle in your body has been granted permission to abandon its post. The tension that had once resided in your shoulders has vanished, carried away by the long, slow, and intentional process of this evening. Your legs, heavy and warm, feel anchored to the floorboards. Your hands, once so busy and restless, are now relaxed and empty, resting comfortably at your sides. You have reached the physical limits of exhaustion, and in doing so, you have transcended it, entering a state of restoration that is deeper than simple sleep. Think of the resilience of the wood that surrounds you. These oak beams were harvested from forests that survived centuries of storms, and they have been fashioned into a structure that has successfully withstood the brutal winters of the Baltic. They are a testament to the fact that strength is not about being rigid or loud. It is about being deep, being settled, and being properly fitted. You are currently mimicking that strength. By settling into this space, by becoming a part of the hut's own quiet, you are rebuilding your own foundation. You are learning that to be strong, you do not need to constantly fight against the elements. You only need to build a shelter where you can rest, recover, and remember who you are. The sounds of the environment are now so refined that they have become part of your own heartbeat. The wind, which had earlier seemed like a chaotic intruder, is now a distant melodic hum that serves only to highlight the sanctity of the interior. The workshop has a pulse, the heartbeat of a living, breathing shelter. You are not a guest here, you are a participant in the life of the building. This is the ultimate comfort, the feeling of being part of a larger, older, and more stable structure than your own individual life. You are a small, quiet part of the history of this place, and that realization brings a sense of belonging that is both deeply moving and perfectly peaceful. Consider the artisan again. He is a man who has surrendered to the night with a grace that is enviable. He is not worried about the ember he will polish tomorrow or the trade he will engage in when the sun returns. He is simply and completely present in the now. By his example, he has taught you the secret of the craftsman, that you can be intense and focused while you work, but you must be just as intense and focused in your rest. You have spent your day in the pursuit of productivity, and that is well and good. But now you are in the pursuit of peace, and that is a much higher calling. There is no shame in this. There is no delay in this. You are doing exactly what you were meant to do. The air in the room is a tactile presence. It feels heavy, warm, and clean. A medium that carries the peace of the hearth directly into your lungs. With every breath, you are not just oxygenating your blood, you are filling your spirit with the calm of the Baltic night. You are washing away the debris of the day, the small, sharp frustrations, the lingering voices, the unfinished anxieties. They are being dissolved by the slow, constant flow of the air. You are becoming as clean, as clear, and as polished as the finished gems on the workbench. The fire has done its work. The light has been captured. The darkness has been welcomed. You find your thoughts are now completely fluid, drifting like smoke in the moonlight. You do not try to catch them. You do not try to name them. You are watching them move from one state to another, from the memory of the day to the anticipation of the deep, dreamless sleep that is calling your name. You are not losing consciousness. You are simply allowing your awareness to deepen, to expand into the quiet dark until there is no longer a sense of you and the room, but only the unified experience of being. This is the state of total presence, the place where the soul finally gets to speak without the intrusion of the ego. The embers are now just a faint, lingering pulse, a sign that the fire has fulfilled its purpose and is ready to fade. You are the same. You have been provided with warmth, with shelter, and with a witness to your rest. Everything that needs to happen is happening. The transition is seamless. You are sinking deeper into the wood, deeper into the dark, and deeper into the truth that you are loved, you are safe, and you are exactly where you need to be. There is no anxiety in the dark. The dark is the cradle of the stars and the bed of the sea. And tonight, it is the home of your dreams. Sleep. Let the weight of your body be a gift to the floor. Let the rhythm of your breath be a gift to the air. Let the silence be a gift to your heart. You are held by the history of this place, by the warmth of the embers, and by the profound eternal peace of the night. Sleep, and know that when the sun finally crests the horizon over the Baltic, you will be refreshed, restored, and ready to meet the world again with a clear, calm, and golden light in your own soul. You are home. You are safe. You are at rest. The embers have reached the deepest, most subtle stage of their existence, no longer flickering with the fire of the day, but holding the soft, steady warmth of the earth itself. The workshop has become a vessel of profound tranquility, a space where the cold, biting winds of the Baltic exterior are rendered utterly powerless by the density of the oak and the memory of the fire. You are adrift in the absolute stillness of the night, a state of being so quiet and so deep that your own heartbeat seems like the only clock in existence. The artisan, a dark, motionless silhouette in the corner, has merged entirely with the shadows of the hut, his presence serving as the final comforting anchor in a world that has otherwise dissolved into a calm, restorative dark. You are safe, the sanctuary is absolute. Every breath you take feels like an inhalation of history. The air, thick with the scent of pine resin, damp stone, and the distant cooling ash of the hearth, acts as a sensory tether to this specific moment in the 16th century. You are no longer navigating the complexity of your modern life. You are simply existing within the essential enduring cycle of the workshop. This space, built with the intent of survival and the refinement of craft, has become your personal cathedral of rest. You feel the weight of the years in the very timber of the walls, a sturdy, unwavering support that tells you, without words, that you do not need to be strong tonight. You have done enough. You have survived enough. You are here, and that is sufficient. Think of the amber again, resting on the worn workbench. It is a material that has survived millions of years, enduring the pressure of the earth and the erosion of the sea, only to wait for the hand of the craftsman to reveal its true golden core. Tonight you are undergoing a similar process. The pressures of your daily life, the grind of your responsibilities, and the sharp edges of your anxieties are being softened by the friction less quiet of this room. You are being polished, you are being refined, you are being returned to your essential luminous self, free from the tarnish of the world. Trust in this process. Do not rush to fill the silence. Let the darkness do its work. The sounds of the room have reached a level of refinement that approaches the ethereal. The low structural groan of the house as it settles is a song of security, a sound that assures you the shelter is holding, the roof is sound, and the floor is true. The wind, once a threatening force, has been tamed by the eaves into a gentle rhythmic hum that serves only to emphasize the absolute silence within. Your own breathing has synced with these cadences, creating a feedback loop of calm that pulls you deeper into the dark. You are not a guest in this hut anymore. You are a part of its atmosphere, a quiet, peaceful presence that will linger in the grain of the wood long after you have gone. Consider the freedom found in this surrender. Most of your life is defined by doing, by planning, by performing, by securing, but here you are being. There is no expectation of productivity, no deadline for your thoughts, and no judgment for your stillness. This is the radical, necessary mercy of the workshop, the permission to stop. You are witnessing the very essence of human life before it was complicated by the noise of the world. You are finding that when you strip away the layers of expectation, what remains is something remarkably simple, sturdy, and beautiful. You are a soul in repose, and that is a state of grace. The darkness is no longer something you fear. It is the most welcoming, accommodating space you have ever inhabited. It is a vast open field of peace where you can finally lay down the burdens you didn't even realize you were carrying. Feel the weight of your body pressing into the bench, the solidity of the wood holding you up, the gravity of the earth pulling you into a state of total ease. You are not floating, you are anchored, you are part of the ground, a part of the building, a part of the night. Every tension that remains in your muscles is being leached out by the contact with the wood, leaving you feeling lighter, looser, and profoundly at peace. Your thoughts are drifting like leaves on a slow-moving dark stream. You don't need to grab them. You don't need to know where they go. You are watching them exit your mind one by one, until there is nothing left but the sensation of warmth on your face and the gentle rhythmic sound of the night. This is the deepest, most quiet sleep you have ever known, a state where the mind is completely empty and the spirit is completely full. You are being restored in the very marrow of your bones. As the last traces of the fire fade, know that the warmth remains in the stone, in the air, and in your own heart. You are carrying this sanctuary within you now. Whenever you feel the cold of the world, whenever the noise becomes too much, whenever you feel the edges of your own resolve beginning to fray, remember this room. Remember the artisan in the corner, the ember on the bench, and the quiet golden light that was enough to keep the night at bay. You have found your harbor. You have found your strength. The world is waiting for your return, but it can wait for a while longer. The night is still young, the heart is still warm, and you are still held in the arms of this ancient peaceful moment. Let the last vestiges of your wakefulness dissolve. Let the dark be your final perfect blanket. You have done all you were meant to do. Sleep now, and let the peace of the Gdańsk night be your own. You are exactly where you need to be. You are home. The workshop has slipped into the deepest, most profound silence of the night, a stillness so absolute that the very air seems to hold its breath. The hearth is now a bed of soft violet gray ash with only the faintest pulsing orange glow at its core, a dying sun providing the last of its warmth to the room. You are suspended in this transition, a traveler who has moved beyond the boundaries of wakefulness and is now drifting in the quiet velvety expanse of the dream world. The hut, with its sturdy hand-hewn oak walls and its low timber ceiling, feels like a protective shell, an ark of safety floating on the dark vast sea of the Baltic night. You are completely, utterly at rest. The artisan remains a motionless silhouette in the corner, his presence now a quiet, comforting constant that needs no explanation. He is the master of this sanctuary, and his ability to surrender to the darkness is the final lesson he offers you. He does not fear the end of the day. He does not struggle against the encroaching cold of the night. He simply accepts the cycle, trusts in the shelter he has built, and allows himself to fall into the deep, restorative well of sleep. Watching him, you feel a sense of profound shared humanity. You are not alone. You are part of an ancient, quiet brotherhood of souls who have found refuge from the storm in the warmth of a fire and the strength of a roof. Focus on the tactile sensations of this final moment of wakefulness. Feel the heavy, coarse texture of the wool blanket draped across your frame. It is a weight that feels like a hug, shielding you from the slight, chilly drafts that occasionally whisper through the cracks in the masonry. Feel the firmness of the bench beneath you, a surface that has been worn smooth by years of work and now offers you the most honest support you have ever known. There is no pretense here. There is only the wood, the wool, the stone, and your own tired, grateful body. You are grounded in the most literal sense of the word, connected to the foundations of the building, and through them to the very earth that supports the city of Gdańsk. The scent of the workshop has reached its final, most intoxicating concentration. It is the smell of a life lived with purpose, the resinous, sweet odor of the ember, the sharp, clean scent of the pine, and the smoky mineral musk of the hearth. It is a scent that triggers a primal feeling of safety, a recognition that you are in a place where your needs are met and your spirit can be repaired. With every breath, you feel yourself drifting further away from the shore of your own anxieties, carried out into the calm, quiet waters of the unconscious. You are losing the you that worries, the you that plans, and the you that competes. What remains is a core of pure, simple presence. Consider the significance of this sanctuary in a world that often demands constant attention, constant movement, and constant consumption. You have made a radical, subversive choice to stop. You have walked through the door of this hut and closed it behind you, shutting out the noise of the pot, the demands of your peers, and the relentless pressure of time. You have carved out this space for yourself, a place where you are not a worker, not a consumer, and not a problem solver. You are just a human being, needing heat, needing silence, and needing the deep dark comfort of the night. This is your birthright. Do not let anyone, including your own mind, convince you otherwise. The sounds of the room are now so subtle that they require you to surrender your conscious hearing entirely. The slow cooling contraction of the iron grate, the soft shifting sigh of the floorboards as the temperature drops, and the muffled distant pulse of the sea are all blending into a single cohesive rhythm. It is the rhythm of the world at rest. You are being lulled by it, a gentle, insistent current that is pulling you toward the absolute center of your own peace. You do not need to fight this pull. It is not an end. It is a renewal. You are being prepared for a new beginning, one that will arrive with the sun. But for now, the darkness is your only destination. You feel a sense of immense, sweeping gratitude for the artisans, the builders, and the storytellers who have come before you. They are the ones who taught us how to build walls, how to harness fire, and how to create beauty out of the raw, jagged edges of the natural world. They are the ones who made it possible for you to sit here tonight, in a space that is so carefully crafted for your well-being. You are the inheritor of this tradition, the latest in a long line of travelers who have sought shelter in the dark. Your rest is a continuation of their work. Your peace is the ultimate expression of their success. As you let the last flickering embers fade from your vision, feel the darkness rising to meet you like a soft, cool tide. You are drifting into the deep, dreamless quiet where you are finally truly free. There is no more work to do tonight. The fire is low, but the warmth is permanent. The night is deep, but you are held. The world is far away, but you are home. Sink into the wood. Let the wool hold you and let the silence heal you. You are complete. You are restored. You are at perfect, total peace. Sleep now and let the night take care of the rest. The fire has long since ceased its dance, its once vibrant heart reduced to a dusting of fine silver-gray ash that glows with a faint phantom heat like the dying embers of a star. The workshop is now shrouded in a profound velvety dark, a darkness so absolute it feels as if you are suspended in the very womb of the night. Every corner of the space is softened, the sharp edges of the workbench and the rigid geometry of the timber beams surrendered to the shadows. You are floating in a vacuum of peace, a state of being where your heartbeat is the only metronome, and the rhythmic, deep breathing of the artisan in the corner serves as the only companion to your own internal silence. The cold of the Baltic coast has been held at bay with such efficiency that the air inside this hut feels almost tropical in its stillness, a dense, warm medium that cradles you as if you were drifting in a calm, sequestered pool. You have reached the ultimate destination of this journey, a place where the ego has entirely retreated, leaving behind a soul that is raw, honest, and perfectly content. The worries that you brought to this door, the shadows of professional failure, the echoes of personal disappointment, the relentless, grinding pressure of expectations have all been dissolved by the slow alchemical process of the evening. They were heavy, yes, but they were also illusions, temporary weights that you have finally laid down. In the dark, there is no status, no achievement to chase, and no mistake to lament. There is only the breath, the warmth, and the heavy, sweet, and inevitable gravity of sleep. You feel your limbs becoming part of the bench, your torso merging with the air, and your mind expanding to fill the entire volume of the hut. Until you are not merely in the sanctuary, you are the sanctuary. The artisan's presence is the final essential element of your security. He is the guardian, the anchor, the one who has held the space open for your arrival. He has transitioned into a state of slumber so deep he is almost one with the wooden floor beneath him. He does not need you to be awake. He does not need you to be productive. And he does not need you to be anything other than what you are. A fellow human soul who has found its way to the warmth. By his presence, he tells you that the world can wait, that the trade can wait, that the history of Gdańsk, in all its complexity and strife, can wait. For tonight, the only thing that is required of anyone is to rest. This is the radical wisdom of the artisan, a wisdom that you have successfully absorbed into the marrow of your own bones. Think of the materials that have framed your evening. The oak is not just a building material, it is a survivor, a witness to centuries of freezing rain, blistering heat, and the quiet, persistent growth of the forest. It has given its life so that you might have shelter. The pine resin, the scent of which has become the signature of this night, is the blood of the tree, a precious golden substance that preserves and protects. The ember, the star of the workbench, is a time capsule, a bridge between the deep prehistoric past and the immediate sensory reality of your own pulse. You are surrounded by things that have endured, and by simply sitting among them, you have drawn some of that endurance into yourself. You are no longer brittle, you are no longer fragile, you are tempered. Consider the silence again. It is no longer the silence of absence. It is the silence of fullness, a rich, resonant quiet that vibrates with potential. It is the silence that exists before a breath is taken, before a word is spoken, and before a choice is made. In this, the deepest, darkest, and quietest part of the night, you have found the place where your own truth resides. It is not in your achievements. It is not in your possessions, and it is not in your public persona. It is in this quiet golden firelit core that remains when everything else is stripped away. You have found it tonight, and you are taking it with you. This is the real lasting treasure of the journey. The wind has faded to a memory, a ghost that once circled the house, but has now moved on to other places, leaving you in a bubble of absolute unassailable calm. You can hear the minute rhythmic popping of the cooling stones, the very sound of the universe returning to its most stable natural state. You are being lulled, pulled down by the gentle, insistent gravity of the dark, sliding ever deeper into the rich, restorative soil of your own unconscious. There is no resistance left in you. The conflict is over. The striving has ceased. You are ready to close your eyes, not because you are tired, but because you are complete. You feel a sense of immense sweeping gratitude for the artisans, the builders, and the storytellers of history, for the people who understood that without these places of refuge, we would surely shatter under the weight of existence. You are a part of that long, slow, and noble tradition. Tonight, you have been a person of the hearth, a person of the quiet, and a person of the night. You have claimed your right to be still, and you have discovered that in the stillness you are fully, perfectly, and vibrantly alive. The final remnants of the embers are a soft, violet glow that doesn't even disturb the darkness. It only illuminates the absolute peace of the room. You are sinking, sinking, sinking into the softest, most welcoming dark you have ever known. The world will start again, but it will start without your help for a while longer. The harbor will continue to churn. The ships will continue to arrive, and the city will continue its long, complex dance of life. But you are safe. You are tucked away, and you are in the deepest, most restorative sleep of your life. Let the darkness take you. You are held. You are home. The fire has fully relinquished its hold on the room, leaving behind only the ghost of warmth radiating from the stones and the soft, lingering scent of pine and charred wood. You are in the absolute, final hour of the night, where the world beyond these walls feels not just distant, but entirely non existent. There is no Gdańsk, there is no harbor, there is no sea, there is only the heavy, comforting presence of the timber framed room and the deep, pervasive silence that has settled into every corner like fine dust. You have arrived at the final threshold, a place of total internal quiet, where your consciousness is no longer tethered to the external demands of life. You are perfectly, beautifully alone in a space that has been consecrated by the evening's long, slow process of cooling and settling. The artisan is a shadow among shadows, his existence now entirely devoted to the deep, dreamless slumber that you are also beginning to claim. Watching him, you feel a sense of profound quiet kinship. You have walked the same path today, from the labor of the hours to the sanctuary of the night. He is the guardian of this peace, and his presence is a silent, unshakable assurance that you are permitted to stop. You have fulfilled your role as the traveler, the witness, and the seeker, and now your only role is to rest. The heavy, coarse wool of the blanket is the final touch of protection, a weight that grounds you to the bench and prevents you from drifting away entirely into the void. It is a weight that feels like safety. It is a weight that feels like being held. Think of the resilience of this room. It has been built to endure, to shelter, and to preserve. As you lie in the dark, you can feel the integrity of the beams and the unwavering stability of the floorboards. You are in a structure that knows how to survive, and by extension, you are learning that you too know how to survive. You have endured your own storms. You have navigated your own winters, and you have found your own way to the light. The strength of the heart is a mirror for the strength of your own spirit. You are not a fragile temporary thing. You are a being of depth, capable of holding your own peace, even when the world outside is in flux. This realization is the cornerstone of your rest. The silence has become so absolute that it feels like a physical texture, a soft velvet weight that presses against your skin and eases the tension in your mind. You are no longer hearing external sounds. You are hearing the internal rhythm of your own body, the slow, steady expansion of your lungs, the rhythmic pulse in your temples, the quiet hum of your own energy as it begins to wind down. You are becoming a closed loop, a self-contained system of peace. You are not losing yourself to the darkness. You are finding yourself within it. You are returning to the source of your own calm, the deep, untouched reservoir of stillness that resides in the center of your soul. Consider the ember once more, now resting in the deepest shadow of the workbench. It is a solidified, beautiful memory of a time long before humanity, a piece of the ancient forest that has survived the grinding pressure of the earth to arrive here in your presence. It is a reminder that the most precious things in life are often the result of immense silent pressure and the long, slow passage of time. You have been under pressure, you have felt the weight of the years, but like the ember, you are being refined. You are being cleared of the dross, and what remains is something resilient, something glowing, and something truly uniquely you. Trust the time you have spent here. It was not wasted, it was a forging. The air remains sweet with the resinous perfume of the workshop. It is the scent of a sanctuary, the smell of a place where things are made, repaired, and understood. It is a scent that you will carry with you, a sensory anchor that you can return to whenever the world becomes too loud or too demanding. It is the smell of your own peace. With every long, slow inhalation, you are drinking in the quiet of the 1580s, filling your spirit with the endurance of the timber, the stability of the stone, and the gentle fading warmth of the hearth. You are being replenished in ways that go far beyond the physical. There is no need to count the hours, no need to worry about the dawn, and no need to contemplate the future. The future is an abstraction, a story the mind tells to keep itself busy, but the night is a reality. The night is a physical presence, a dark, protective blanket that has been woven for you by the turning of the earth. You are an honored guest of the darkness. You are being invited to stop the narrative of your life and simply exist as a part of the quiet, natural world. Let the story go. Let the plans fade. Let the identity you have worked so hard to maintain fall away like an old, heavy cloak. As you succumb to the final gentle pull of sleep, feel the gratitude of a soul that has finally truly found its harbor. You are safe. You are warm. You are held. The history of this place has become your own history, a deep, resonant story of survival and peace that you will carry into your own life. Let your eyes close. Let the last traces of your conscious mind melt into the soft velvet dark. Everything is fine. Everything is complete. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Sleep now and know that you are loved by the quiet, held by the night, and restored by the peace of the hearth. The journey is over and you are finally perfectly at home. The workshop has settled into the final, eternal depth of the night, a state of existence where the hearth's last traces of heat have become a memory, and the air itself is cool, crisp, and incredibly clear. You are lying in a space where time has lost its linearity. It has curved back upon itself, creating an infinite loop of stillness. The darkness is not a void, but a rich, dense medium that supports your weight as surely as the wooden bench does. You have moved past the need for comfort, past the need for thought, and into the absolute necessity of existence. The artisan in the corner is no longer a person in your perception. He is a part of the hut's geometry, a feature of the landscape that confirms you are not the only soul inhabiting this island of peace. You are sharing the silence with an ancient unseen strength, and that realization is enough to make the world beyond these walls completely irrelevant. The scent of the room has shifted one last time. The sharp, volatile notes of the pine smoke have evaporated, leaving behind only the deep mineral and woody base notes of the workshop, the smell of old seasoned timber, the dry dust of years, and the faint sweet trace of the earth itself. It is a smell that transcends the centuries, a universal signal to the human nervous system that says, here you are safe, here you are hidden. You feel the scent filling your lungs, and with every slow, deliberate expansion of your chest, you are purging the last of the outside world's toxicity. You are being scrubbed clean by the very atmosphere of the hut. You are returning to a state of primary, elemental simplicity. Consider the integrity of the objects around you. In the dark, they are not tools, they are not inventory, and they are not distractions. They are simply manifestations of human intention. The chisel on the workbench, the mallet on the floor, the polished ember in the dish, they all represent a life of focused action. By resting among them, you are absorbing a portion of that focus. You are learning that to be effective in the world, you must first be capable of being perfectly still within yourself. The tools are resting because their work is done. You are resting because your work is done. There is a deep, inherent dignity in this alignment. You are not failing by sleeping. You are participating in the cosmic rhythm of the day's end. The silence is now a heavy, beautiful weight that presses against your skin, a blanket of soundlessness that isolates you from the chaos of the city. You are the only person in this part of Gdańsk who is experiencing this level of profound detachment. It is a lonely state, but it is not a sad one. It is a sacred one. You are the witness to the silence, the one who is holding the space so that the night can do its work of healing. You are the beneficiary of a sanctuary that has existed long before you arrived and will continue to exist long after you leave. This is the comfort of the infinite. You are small, and that is a relief. You are temporary, and that is a beauty. Think of the journey you have made through this evening, the way you started with the noise of the streets, progressed through the warmth of the fire, and have now arrived at this final, dark, and hollowed out peace. It was a pilgrimage of the spirit. You have shed your layers one by one like a tree losing its leaves in autumn, until you have reached the solid, unyielding trunk of your own being. You don't need the external validation of the world. You don't need the busyness of the day to justify your existence. You are enough in the dark. You are enough in the quiet. You are enough simply because you are here. The floorboards beneath you feel like they are singing a low, sub-audible song of stability. You are connected to the very foundations of the building, and through the foundations to the earth of the Baltic coast. You are not floating away. You are being held down by the weight of history and the gravity of the planet. It is a comforting, grounding sensation that tells you that no matter how much your mind may wander or how fragmented your thoughts may become, you are physically present, physically safe, and physically held. The world is solid. You are solid. Everything is exactly as it should be. Your thoughts are now like dust motes caught in a stray beam of moonlight. They dance for a moment, they glitter with a fleeting incoherent beauty, and then they settle into the darkness, forgotten. You are not trying to capture them, you are not trying to archive them, you are letting them go. The act of letting go is the final task of the night, and it is the most important one. You are releasing your grip on the day, on your identity, and on the timeline that requires you to be productive. You are slipping into the void where all things are created and where all things are resolved. As the last remnants of your wakefulness reach their breaking point, know that you are not losing your grip on reality. You are in fact discovering the deepest reality of all. You are a soul at rest, a light burning in the dark, a witness to the profound eternal cycle of the universe. The artisan is asleep. The city is asleep, and the world is waiting for your return. But tonight, the night is your own. You have earned this, you deserve this, and you are ready for this. Let the darkness carry you. It is a soft, warm ocean, and you are a swimmer who has finally decided to stop fighting the current and simply float. Sink into the wood, sink into the quiet, sink into the absolute unshakable peace of the Gdańsk night. You are held by the architecture. You are warmed by the memory of the fire, and you are sheltered by the silence of the ages. You are complete. Sleep now, and let the peace be your only truth until the morning light finds you again. You are home.
Sleepy History with Arthur is created for relaxation, entertainment, and sleep purposes.
The stories shared on this channel are inspired by historical events, daily life, and real periods in history.
But they may be simplified, adapted, or narrated in a calming way to enhance the listening experience.
This content is not intended to be a precise academic or educational source. While we aim to stay generally accurate, some details may be altered for storytelling flow and relaxation.
Please do not rely on this channel as a primary source for historical research or study.
By listening, you acknowledge that this content is designed to help you unwind, relax, and fall asleep. Thank you for your understanding and support.